On my first day at work, my beautiful boss forced me to give birth to a baby? Sister-in-law, let me help you take off your pants first. No. There's no need, I can do it myself. Even though I can't move well right now, I can still manage this on my own. Xiao Chen, wait outside for a moment. Come in once I'm done. Inside the hospital room, the voices of a man and a woman could be heard. A moment later, Chu Chen stepped out, leaning against the corridor wall with a heavy heart. The woman speaking just now was his sister-in-law. Back when he left the village to work in the city, he had sought refuge with his cousin. But fate is cruel. His cousin, newly married, died unexpectedly in a car accident, leaving his wife Xiao a widow. In the countryside, being labeled a husband killer was taboo. And with the traditional mindset ingrained in rural women, Xiao had long abandoned the idea of remarriage. The two of them continued drifting in this unfamiliar city. For years ago, a fire nearly claimed Chu Chen's life. It was Xiao who risked her own to save him. Though Chu Chen lost part of his memory from the accident, he knew this life of his was something she had snatched back from death for him. All these years, Xiao had treated him like her own brother, giving him the best of everything, ensuring he was always taken care of. For an orphan like Chu Chen, she became the closest thing to family he had. But now, Xiao had been diagnosed with a serious illness. Without 200,000 yuan for surgery, she might not live past the year. The thought tore at Chu Chen's heart. He couldn't bear the idea of losing someone so dear again. Just then, "Come in." Her voice came from the room. Chu Chen pushed the door open. On the hospital bed lay a pale, delicate young woman. Even in her sickly state, her beauty was undeniable. Her slender frame beneath the loose hospital gown stirred a bitter sense of helplessness in him. Looking at her, a phrase floated into his mind: heaven is jealous of beauty. Seeing him frown, Xiao weakly raised her hand to smooth his brow. "Xiao Chen, you stayed up all night. You should rest. It's my fault for being a burden." His eyes grew red. Holding her icy hand, he said, "I'm not tired. Don't worry, sister-in-law. Even if I have to sell everything, I'll find a way to cure you." She smiled, then gently shook her head. "You haven't saved much these past years. And you still need to find a wife and start your own life. Don't throw your money away. Besides, I still have a year left, right? It's not like I'm dying tomorrow." Mentioning death darkened her expression. After a pause, she looked at him pleadingly. "I want to ask you for a favor. Can I? Even if it's 10,000 favors, I'll do them all." Chu Chen nodded without hesitation. Xiao's expression turned guilty. "I've never done anything shameful in this life, but I do have one regret. I married into the Chu family yet never gave the family a child. I don't want people in the village to gossip about my family after I'm gone." Chu Chen sighed. In the village's backward mindset, a woman who cursed her husband to death and left no child behind would be the subject of scorn forever. So, Xiao bit her lip, a blush spreading on her pale cheeks. Her eyes shimmered as she looked at Chu Chen. "In this final year, help me. Let me have a child for the Chu family. That way, even if I die, I'll have no regrets." Her request left Chu Chen stunned. Help the Chu family carry on their bloodline? But his cousin had been dead for years. How was that even possible? Suddenly, he realized something. His eyes widened as he looked at Xiao meeting her misty gaze. He finally understood what she meant. "Sister-in-law, you." He swallowed hard. Truthfully, Xiao was once the most beautiful woman in the village. Every unmarried man had coveted her curves and face, yet in the end, it was his cousin who won her heart. And now, her proposal was undeniably tempting. What man could easily refuse? In a flash, his mind pictured her alluring figure and flawless skin. He was only human. How could he not feel tempted? No. Chu Chen shook his head violently, banishing the wild thoughts. If he did that, he'd be no better than a beast taking advantage of the weak. "Sister-in-law. Don't talk nonsense. I'm going to cure your illness, you just wait. I'll find a way." Resolute, Chu Chen splashed cold water on his face and left the hospital for work. He had to care for his sister-in-law at night and screw bolts at the factory by day. Without any real skills, all the money he had ever saved came from sheer effort. But now? Forget 200,000, even his past savings were gone. He was already in debt. Even if he tried to gather the money now, it might be too late. If her illness worsened, he couldn't bear the outcome. Lost in thought, Chu Chen suddenly lost focus. His hand was crushed by the machine. Blood flowed, and he cried out in pain. He didn't notice the jade pendant on his bracelet suddenly glowing with a soft red light. Chu Chen! Quit messing around, what are you yelling for? The team leader barked at him. Aye. Chu Chen began to explain, but then he noticed something strange. His injured hand was healing before his eyes, rapidly regenerating. He froze. At the same time, a flood of unfamiliar memories surged into his mind, nearly splitting his skull open with pain. Stop screaming. Good timing, the director wants to see you. Go now. The director? Chu Chen blinked, then shook his head and tried to snap out of it. He dropped his tools and went straight to the office. Upon entering, a fragrant scent hit his nose. In the director's chair sat a woman in a sleek office suit, about 27 or 28 years old, with chestnut curls, black stockings, and high heels that emphasized her alluring curves. Her delicate face was framed by a pair of rimless glasses that gave her a mature, seductive air. Though he was new, Chu Chen had heard the rumors the boss was a gorgeous woman. Seeing her for the first time, he couldn't help but be stunned. There was something oddly familiar about her. Boss, you wanted to see me? Soo-yoon caught the dazed look in his eyes and a flicker of disdain passed through hers. Men. All the same. Raising her chin slightly, she gave off an air of superiority. Yes, I have something for you to do. Do it well, and I'll give you 100,000 yuan. Fail and you're fired. Due to her position, Chu Chen's eyes landed directly on the deep cleavage beneath her buttoned suit. He quickly swallowed hard. But at the mention of being fired, his face turned grim. What do you need me to do? He needed the money now more than ever. And he wasn't naive. Anything that came with a 100,000 yuan reward was bound to be tricky. Soo-yoon bit her lip. A hint of shyness flashed across her face but was quickly replaced by indifference. Don't overthink it. It's nothing illegal. I just need a favor. I want you to help me have a child. What? Chu Chen's eyes went wide. Did he hear that right? Chapter 2, 200,000, okay? Within one day, Chu Chen heard the same outrageous request from two different women. He could still understand his sister-in-law. But looking at Soo-yoon in front of him, with her curvy figure, sexy and charming face, she had money and beauty. How could such a woman have such a demand? Boss. I don't quite understand what you mean. Shocked, Chu Chen was a little nervous when he spoke. Soo-yoon explained impatiently, what's there to not understand? In the words of your village, I want to borrow your seed to help me have a child. Isn't it clear enough? To be honest, Chu Chen had heard that there were some rich women in the city who didn't want to get married but wanted a child. But he didn't expect that this kind of thing would happen to him. Because he looks honest and tight-lipped. Chu Chen swallowed his saliva and glanced at Soo-yoon's proud peaks, especially the beautiful legs wrapped in black silk. Who wouldn't want to go forward and play with them? Chu Chen gritted his teeth. The opportunity was in front of him. Apart from anything else, he really needed money now. Boss, I promise you. But 100,000 yuan is a bit too little. How about 200,000 yuan? Soo-yoon didn't expect Chu Chen to dare to raise the price. While angry, he was disgusted. Then he nodded impatiently. 200,000 is 200,000. This is my home address. Come to me tonight. Remember, no one can know about this. Go back and have a good rest in the afternoon. I don't want you to let down tonight. After that, Soo-yoon immediately ordered him to leave, as if he didn't want to look at Chu Chen again. Chu Chen nodded. With the 200,000 yuan, he could cure his sister-in-law. He could squeeze him dry tonight. The office door was closed again. Soo-yoon's face flashed a bit of loneliness, and her eyes fell on a critical illness notice on the table. Ms. Soo, your daughter suffers from a special leukemia. Only the bone marrow of a close relative can be transplanted. In order to ensure the success of the operation, the other party's bone marrow cannot be too mature, which requires a child of similar age to match. Our hospital recommends that you try to do conservative treatment during this period, and you need to cooperate with your daughter's biological father to have another child, and as soon as possible. Recalling the words of the attending doctor, Soo-yoon gritted her teeth and fell into memories. For years ago, Soo-yoon, who had just entered the business war, was full of vigor and offended many local wealthy businessmen. One of them even used despicable means to drug her wine at a business banquet. Although Soo-yoon fled the scene as soon as possible after discovering it. But when she woke up again, she found herself lying in a strange and simple room, naked, and next to her was a strange man who was also naked. Soo-yoon, who was extremely ashamed and angry, wanted to kill this dog thief who took advantage of others' misfortune. But Soo-yoon also knew that if this guy really did nothing and let the drug take effect, she would definitely die. In the end, Soo-yoon gritted her teeth and left the building before the man woke up. Fortunately, she left quickly, because she found out after investigation that not long after she left, the rich businessman sent people to set fire to her in order to kill her. At first, Soo-yoon felt guilty and thought that the guy had died in the fire. Later, she accidentally learned that the man was not dead. Later, she found out that she was pregnant. Put away your thoughts. I didn't expect that after 4 years, the guy didn't remember me at all. Soo-yoon's eyes flashed with anger. Men are really not good. But it's good this way, since God let him appear in front of me again. This means that my daughter is not destined to die. No matter what, Yuan must not get into trouble. Soo-yoon clenched her slender fingers, with a determined look on her face. Chu Chen didn't plan to rest in the afternoon, but went straight to the hospital to take care of his sister-in-law. Along the way, he kept recalling where he had seen the female boss. I can't remember. If it's about the fire, then there's nothing I can do. Chu Chen muttered helplessly. He had a big fire 4 years ago and he was lucky enough to save his life, but he couldn't remember anything about the fire before and after. Just then, a Land Rover suddenly blocked the way. A bald and tattooed strong man got out of the car, holding a steel pipe in his hand, followed by several men with fake smiles, completely blocking Chu Chen in the alley. You are Chu Chen, right? You don't answer the phone, you don't reply to text messages. Why are you planning to default on your debt? Boy. A loan of 50,000 yuan is not a lot. I heard that you have a sister-in-law who is pretty. Let her sell it. The 50,000 yuan will be paid back soon with interest. Hearing the bold man's words, Chu Chen's face suddenly darkened. In order to raise the hospital fee for his sister-in-law, he borrowed a loan of high interest in a hurry, but who would have thought that these people would not follow the contract at all? After only 1 month, they started to collect the interest. I will pay you back as soon as possible, but please keep your mouth clean. Yo! You are so good at borrowing money and not paying it back. Do you remember what I told you? The interest is 1,200 yuan a day, and you have to pay it back with interest in 1 month. If you miss 1 day, I will cut off one of your fingers. Wang Hu sneered and waved the steel pipe in his hand. Chu Chen looked extremely ugly. The other party was clearly trying to trick him. Don't you think it's a bit too much? I will pay you according to the contract in half a year, but don't even think about giving you the extra money now. Fuck. I'm giving you face, right? Wang Hu was furious when he heard this. Okay. I'll give you a slap today, so you'll remember it. He saw him swinging a steel pipe and smashing it on Chu Chen's head. Chu Chen's head was broken and bleeding, and he fell to the ground. Chu Chen staggered, and his head was splitting with pain. The memory that vaguely emerged in his mind in the morning suddenly emerged again. And this time, along with the memory, a strange force began to emerge in his body. Medical acupuncture, Xianmen's secrets, Chimenduanjia, all kinds of unheard of texts, like an ancient book, slowly emerged in Chu Chen's mind. At the same time, his injured head stopped bleeding again and began to heal. Seeing Chu Chen covering his head in a daze, Wang Hu sneered, "Are you clear-headed now? I fucked you, a slut, but if you don't know how to behave and dare to ruin my business, believe it or not, I will make you unable to survive in Jiangcheng." The next second, a strong wind came. Wang Hu only felt a black shadow flash in front of his eyes, and the whole person seemed to be hit by a locomotive. He flew backwards and hit the wall behind him, making a big hole in the wall and spitting out blood. And Wang Hu's men were dumbfounded at this moment. Chu Chen, who was originally injured in the head, stood up without knowing when, and for some reason, he, who was originally ordinary, now had an inexplicable temperament, which was palpitating. It turns out that the Chu family jade pendant actually hides so many secrets. Medical immortal Chu Daoxian. So that's it. Chu Chen muttered to himself, his eyes full of surprise. He gently clenched his 5 fingers, feeling the power of the explosion, and then slowly raised his head. "I'll give you 3 counts, get out of my sight." At this time, Wang Hu was completely unconscious. And the others had already been stunned by the scene in front of them. This is not a human, this is clearly a monster. As soon as Chu Chen finished speaking, they hurriedly carried Wang Hu and ran out, fearing that if they delayed another second, they would end up in the same situation. But at this moment. Wait! Chu Chen's voice sounded again, scaring several people. Remember! I will pay the money back, but whoever dares to hit my sister-in-law again. I don't need to tell you the end. I know. Several people nodded like pecking rice, and finally left without looking back. After the others left, Chu Chen also rushed to the hospital. At this moment, his face was full of excitement and joy. Because just now, the inheritance he obtained actually clearly recorded how to treat his sister-in-law's difficult and complicated disease. This means that he has a way to cure his sister-in-law. Thinking of this, he couldn't wait any longer. He ran all the way. The journey that was supposed to take 2 hours actually took him less than 20 minutes. Sister-in-law, I have a way. Rushing to the hospital, Chu Chen was just about to push open the ward and share this joy with his sister-in-law. But at this moment, the attending doctor's obscene laughter sounded in the ward. Miss He, just listen to me, as long as you serve me well in the future. TSK, such a beautiful face, such a good figure, how can I let a beauty like you die of illness in vain? Come, let me kiss you first. Hearing this, Chu Chen's face instantly turned pale. Chapter 3 Healing. In the ward. Xiao pushed the attending doctor away in panic. Dr. Chen, please respect yourself. I am not the kind of person you think. Chen Jiming pushed Xiaojia's hand away, impatiently leaned forward and said, stop pretending. I overheard everything you said to that guy outside. I didn't expect that you look so innocent, but you are so slutty in your bones. Anyway, that guy is going to sleep with me anyway, so am I not much better than him? Bang! A slap suddenly hit Chen Jiming in the face. Xiaojia was ashamed and angry, her beautiful eyes were filled with tears, and her body was shaking with anger. I don't allow you to say that about Xiao Chen, and I don't allow you to insult me. Get out of my ward right now. After the slap, Chen Jiming's face instantly turned ugly. You stinky bitch! How dare you hit me? I'm telling you, my master is the only one in the entire hospital who can perform surgery for your condition. Believe it or not, you can only wait to die here. Get out. If you don't get out, I'll call the police. Xiaojia couldn't stop her tears from flowing out. From childhood to adulthood, she had never been insulted like this. When Chen Jiming heard the words, call the police, his face suddenly changed. He stepped forward and covered Xiaojia's mouth. With his other hand, he began to tear off Xiaojia's clothes desperately. Call the police. I told you to. Anyway, that guy wasn't here, no one saw it. Wait until I sleep with you. If you dare to say nonsense, I will spread your words and let everyone hear it. You slut face. Let me go. No. Don't. Xiaojia struggled desperately, but her strength was too little and tears of despair flowed out. Seeing this scene, the excitement in Chen Jiming's eyes became even stronger. But at this moment. Bang! The door of the ward was suddenly pushed open, and Chen Jiming was so scared that he turned around quickly. Snap! A powerful slap made him fly backwards, and blood mixed with a few teeth was immediately spat out. Chen Jiming fell to the ground with blood all over his face. He looked at Chu Chen, who rushed in and shouted angrily, Oh! You dare to hit me, you are dead! Beat you? I'll fucking kill you! Chu Chen's eyes were bloodshot, and a violent murderous intent emanated from his whole body. No! Xiao Chen! Xiaojia screamed in surprise. She knew Chu Chen's character well and was afraid that he would impulsively commit some unforgivable crime. In her anxiety, her body couldn't bear the violent fluctuations of emotions and she fainted on the spot. Sister-in-law! Seeing this scene, Chu Chen immediately ignored Chen Jiming, kicked him away, and hurried forward to check on Xiaojia's condition. With this kick, Chen Jiming broke 2 more ribs. He screamed twice, then held back his anger as he ran and cursed, Just wait for me, no one of you will leave today. After saying that, he went to shake hands without even looking back. Chu Chen had no time to care about him at this moment. He first took Xiaojia's pulse to confirm her condition, and then his eyes fell on a box of silver needles on the medical cart next to him. During the inheritance process, a large number of acupuncture techniques are constantly emerging. Chu Chen took a deep breath, his eyes were as sharp as torches, and silver needles began to fall like silver rain. The needle will vibrate and make a sound when it enters the acupuncture point. After 7 needles were inserted in succession, Xiaojia's delicate body trembled violently. The sharp edge does not reveal the hidden dragon's abyss. Another 7 needles were injected, and Xiaojia suddenly sat up, spitting out a large mouthful of dark blood. The flesh and bones are not separated and the soul is separated. After another 7 needles, beads of sweat began to seep out of Xiaojia's forehead, and soon she was sweating profusely. I want to see who is causing trouble in my hospital. Is there no law? Suddenly, accompanied by the angry voice of the dean, the door of the ward was pushed open again, and Chen Jiming rushed in with a group of doctors and security guards. With blood on his face, he pointed at Chu Chen angrily. It's him. I was trying to comfort the patient with good intentions, but this guy beat me up like a mad dog. Hurry up and arrest him and put him in jail. The dean's face changed. What is this kid doing? Is he treating a patient? Nonsense. Practicing medicine without permission, you are harming people. Stop it now. Wait. Suddenly, an old man with grey hair nearby stretched out his hand to stop everyone. Master, what's wrong with you? It was this kid who beat me. Chen Jiming was confused and looked anxious. Chuanxiang ignored him and saw his old eye staring at Chu Chen's acupuncture technique, as if he had seen something unbelievable and did not dare to miss any details. It happened at this time. Chu Chen had just placed the last needle of the 4th set of 7 needles, and Xiaojia, who had been unconscious on the bed, had completely regained her rosy complexion and slowly opened her eyes. What happened to me just now, Xiao Chen, hey? My body doesn't hurt anymore, I feel like I'm healed, that's great, Xiao Chen, I'm fine. Xiaojia hugged Chu Chen excitedly. What's going on? Isn't that woman in the terminal stage of a serious illness? Why does she look fine now? No way. What did this kid just do? Seeing this scene, everyone was shocked and started talking about it. Among all the people, only Chuanxiang was so excited that he could hardly speak clearly. Soul separation needle. This is the legendary soul separation golden needle. Master, what are you talking about? This guy is right there, arrest him and call the police. Chen Jiming kept urging him anxiously. But suddenly, just shut up. Chuanxiang slapped Chen Jiming on the face, and then walked up to Chu Chen in fear and trepidation. Godly doctor, please come on, I am an old man who has no way to teach you, and I have offended you, I hope you will forgive me. Miracle doctor. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone present was stunned. What is Mr. He's identity? Not to mention the hospital, even looking at the entire Jiangcheng, he is a well-known senior expert. And such a highly respected senior actually apologized to a junior? Xiao Chen, what's going on? Xiaojia also looked at Chu Chen in confusion. But Chu Chen looked calm, glanced at Chuanxiang and said, Old man, it seems you have good eyesight. All right. I'll leave this kid to you to deal with. Give me a satisfactory answer, and I won't hold your hospital responsible. How ridiculous. After beating someone up, you dare to be so arrogant. Do you think my hospital is? Upon hearing this, the dean instantly became furious. But at this moment, Chuanxiang hurriedly pulled him back, gave him a look, and instantly looked at Chen Jiming with a cold face. From today on, you are fired from the hospital. There is no place for you in the whole Jiangcheng, get out. Chen Jiming's face changed again, and finally he collapsed to the ground in despair. Until he was taken away, his face was full of disbelief. This kid. What is your identity? Don't worry, the hospital will discuss this matter and give the doctor a satisfactory explanation. We won't bother the doctor anymore and will take our leave for now. Chuanxiang appeared extremely humble, and then he left the ward respectfully with everyone and the confused dean, closing the door behind him. Xiao Chen, what's going on? When there were only 2 people in the ward, Xiaojia finally couldn't help but asked with a puzzled look on her face. Chu Chen smiled bitterly, he didn't know how to explain it all. Just at this moment, the phone suddenly rang. Chu Chen picked up the phone and saw that it was a call from the beautiful boss. Oh no. He almost forgot that there was one thing he hadn't done tonight. I promised my boss that I would go to her house tonight and help her make a baby. Chapter 4, Recovering from a Serious Illness. Chu Chen wiped the sweat from his forehead and answered the phone. Boss, something happened this afternoon. Before Chu Chen could finish his words, there was a beeping sound from the other end indicating that the phone had been hung up. This voice hit Chu Chen's heart hard. For a long time, he silently looked at the black screen of his phone. But their contract had already been signed, and he had promised the beautiful boss that he would go to the villa, so he couldn't go back on his word no matter what. I still have to go to the villa and explain it carefully. Then he put away his phone, turned his head to look at his sister-in-law, and said softly, "Sister-in-law, I have something to deal with. You should rest well in the hospital and wait for me to come back." Xiaojia's face was ruddy. She had just recovered from a serious illness and had not yet recovered. She asked with a slight gasp, "Xiao Chen, what's going on? When will you be able to treat illnesses?" Chu Chen's eyes dodged for a moment, and he chuckled twice. "I learned it from Dr. Liu, the old Chinese doctor who gave you medicine when you fainted last time. He was afraid that something might happen, so he taught me 2 tricks." There was still suspicion in Xiaojia's eyes. Seeing that Chu Chen was unwilling to say more, she finally changed the subject. "What are you going to do in such a hurry? As for the factory matters, sister-in-law, don't worry, I'll be back soon." Seeing that time was running out, a few drops of cold sweat oozed out of Chu Chen's forehead. "Then sister-in-law, I'm leaving first." Seeing Chu Chen's anxious look, Xiaojia didn't try to stop him. She nodded and let him leave. Chu Chen hurried out of the hospital, took a taxi and went straight to the villa. Not long after Chu Chen left, Chuanxiang walked into the office with the dean and others. The dean pulled out a chair respectfully and said, "Mr. He, please." Chuanxiang glanced at the dean with a complicated expression, sighed, and sat on the chair. "I know you are all curious about where that boy came from. Did you see what he did just now?" The dean nodded hurriedly. Although he couldn't see it clearly, his many years of medical experience enabled him to tell that the boy was giving acupuncture. The needles he used were not ordinary needles. They were called soul-separating needles. There were a total of 7,749 needles. After saying that, a hint of nostalgia flashed across Chuanxiang's eyes, and his fingers gently brushed across his collar. "I once met a master who was so skilled in medicine that he could be called a miracle doctor, but he could only perform the first 7 needles. And the kid just now, who was only in his 20s, could perform the fourth 7 needles. What is this? This is a genius more precious than a pander." Chuanxiang stood up suddenly, which scared the dean next to him. The old man's slightly cloudy eyes were full of fanaticism, as if he had seen something extraordinary. "This kind of genius. We must find a way to dig him out." In the villa, Suyun was wearing a black gauze pajamas, leaning against the stairs, with her wavy black hair hanging in front of her chest. Suyun frowned and looked at Chu Chen, with a hint of displeasure in her eyes. Chu Chen walked into the villa panting, and when he looked up, Suyun had already walked down the stairs. As the figure swayed, the soft breasts faintly visible under the black gauze made Chu Chen's blood boil. Chu Chen's face flushed and his eyes dropped involuntarily. Suyun chuckled, "Why, do you regret it?" A cold voice sounded in Chu Chen's ears, accompanied by a fragrant breeze. Suyun walked in front of Chu Chen without him knowing when. She looked at Chu Chen with amorous eyes. Every frown and smile of hers was very tempting. Chu Chen took a deep breath, and the fragrance of the woman continued to flow into his nostrils, bringing some intoxicating feeling. Chu Chen's cheeks flushed and he grabbed his sleeves tightly. Suyun was very close, and she could see the white skin exposed in the lower half of the collar as soon as she raised her eyes. Chu Chen lowered his head, a hint of confusion flashing across his eyes. "Boss, I..." Suyun coughed lightly, her hair covering her red earlobes. She hooked Chu Chen's collar with her slightly trembling fingers and breathed warmly into the man's ears. "What am I? What are you waiting for? Don't forget the agreement between us." The soft body rubbed against Chu Chen's body gently. The fragrance constantly stimulated Chu Chen's nerves, and the blood in his body began to boil. Chu Chen suddenly felt dizzy and picked up Suyun, feeling the warmth in his arms. His eyes turned red. At this moment, Chu Chen could no longer think about it. He took a few quick steps into the bedroom and threw Suyun onto the bed. The overly big movement lifted up a piece of gauze, revealing the spring light, and their white skin formed a sharp contrast with the black sheets. Suyun was half lying on the bed, looking at Chu Chen. Her eyes were seductive, her moist lips were slightly pursed, as if waiting for someone to kiss her. Chu Chen took off his coat and pounced on him. With such a beautiful woman in my arms, how can I resist? Suyun's clothes were half off, and she was half leaning on Chu Chen. Feeling the strong and powerful body under his hand, a hint of satisfaction flashed across Suyun's eyes full of spring. Chu Chen slowly approached Suyun, the soft embrace made him reluctant to let go. It's rare to have such a beautiful woman. If you can sleep with her, it would probably be what every man dreams of. How nice it would be if she was my wife. Wife? Chu Chen shook his head violently. No, that's not right. They just have a cooperative relationship. That was the beautiful factory manager that everyone wanted, how could I possibly? Chu Chen's eyes suddenly became clear, and his slightly narrowed eyes were full of confusion. Isn't this development a bit too fast? Although the two people have a cooperative relationship, there is always a feeling of taking advantage of someone's misfortune. The red in Chu Chen's eyes gradually dissipated, and the heat in his body gradually subsided. Suyun looked at Chu Chen, who didn't move, and pushed his shoulder lightly in dissatisfaction. The force was not strong, and it didn't seem like she was expressing dissatisfaction, but more like she was acting coquettishly. Chu Chen let go of Suyun, took a few steps back, and stammered, "Boss, I think we are moving too fast. After all, we need to cultivate a foundation for our relationship." Just when the fat meat was about to reach his mouth, it was snatched away by a bird. Suyun's face was still flushed. She looked at the cautious man angrily and kicked him hard. What does this man mean? He can't do it at the last minute. Suyun clenched her hands, her chest rising and falling slightly. Any man seeing this scene would be unable to control himself, but the man in front of him was unmoved. Could it be that my charm has decreased? Or was I wrong about this guy and he is actually not that good? The more Suyun thought about it, the more angry she became. Fortunately, I started preparing in the afternoon and wore the sexiest suspender nightgown. This kid really doesn't know what's good. If you don't want to, then get out of here. Suyun's words were soft, with some panting, but the stern look in her eyes brooked no rejection. Chu Chen was silent for a moment, quietly got off the bed, put on his clothes, turned his head and glanced at Suyun. What are you looking at? Get out of here. Who are you humiliating? I didn't. Before he could finish his words, a pillow came towards Chu Chen. Chu Chen quickly dodged and said, "Boss, have a good rest. I'm leaving first." Watching Chu Chen's back as he left, Suyun clenched her fists and threw another pillow out the door. Damn it. I finally found a suitable one, but he left just when I was about to succeed. Could it be that her charm is not enough to keep a small man? Damn, it's not easy to find another suitable man. Chapter 5 Promotion. Chu Chen had already walked out of the villa. Looking at the luxurious house behind him, he loosened his clenched fists and took a long breath. If you leave like this, you will probably be fired. Chu Chen's eyes were full of regret. He really didn't want to lose this job, but what had been done had already been done. Now he could only leave it to fate. The beeping sound of the phone in his pocket brought Chu Chen back to his senses. It was a text message from Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen, sister-in-law is going back first. Chu Chen frowned and swiped the screen of his mobile phone. It had only been 3 hours since he left the hospital. It was his first time using acupuncture technology, and he didn't know how his sister-in-law's health was recovering. Why did she pass away? Chu Chen was silent for a moment, then picked up his phone and called his sister-in-law. After dozens of seconds, the phone was picked up and Xiaojia's clear voice came from the other end. Sister-in-law, your body hasn't recovered yet, why are you going home? Xiao Chen, don't worry. The doctor said that I have recovered well and can be discharged from the hospital for the time being. You are off work now, come back for dinner, and your sister-in-law will make you something delicious. After saying that, Xiaojia hung up the phone without giving Chu Chen a chance to continue speaking. Chu Chen looked at the black screen of his phone helplessly, and decided to go home and check it out first. Before entering their house, Chu Chen could smell the aroma of food coming from inside. He paused and a trace of nostalgia flashed across his eyes. Since his sister-in-law fell ill, he had not smelled the fragrance of food again. Xiaojia, wearing an apron, opened the door with a smile. You're back, come and eat. Chu Chen hung his coat on the hanger and asked, Sister-in-law, you just came back from the hospital, why don't you take a good rest? Thanks to those few shots you gave me, I'm already well. There's no need to rest. Come wash your hands and eat. Xiaojia's face was rosy, not as pale as before, but her body was still a little thin, and she looked light and fluttery. Chu Chen was silent for a moment, but in the end he said nothing more and obediently washed his hands and ate. At the dinner table, Chu Chen watched his sister-in-law eat a whole bowl of rice and finally felt relieved. After all, since she became ill, Xiao could only eat some liquid food and hadn't had a good meal for a long time. The next morning, Chu Chen walked towards the factory yawning. After a whole night of mental preparation last night, he finally accepted the fact that he was about to be fired. Since he was going to be fired anyway, Chu Chen simply slept a little longer and didn't leave until it was time to go to work. What's strange is that the factory, which was originally noisy, was quiet today. All the people were standing in the open space in the middle, as if waiting for someone. Seeing Chu Chen coming, the worker next to him was shocked and quickly pulled him over, whispering, "Where have you been, kid? Why are you here so late? Be careful not to get caught by the team leader." Chu Chen waved his hand nonchalantly. He was about to be fired, so why should he be afraid of the team leader? If you get caught, you get caught. What's going on? Isn't it time to go to work? What are you guys waiting for here? Chu Chen's eyes were full of curiosity. Oh, who knows? I was called here early in the morning. I didn't even have time to say a word to the team leader before he called me to the office. He hasn't come out yet. He didn't say goodbye, so we don't dare to leave. We can only stay here, but... The man turned his small eyes around for a few times, and seeing that no one was paying attention to them, he whispered into Chu Chen's ear, "The team leader is in a bad mood today, with a droopy face," and he specifically pointed out someone. "You have to be careful." As soon as he finished speaking, the team leader with a dark face came over with a few papers in his hand. He glanced at the crookedly standing workers with displeasure. His eyes swept across their dark faces and stopped on Chu Chen. The team leader pointed at Chu Chen and said, "You, come with me to the office." Chu Chen's heart skipped a beat. Sure enough, what was coming would come. He was probably going to be fired. Even though he was extremely reluctant, he still followed the team leader into the office. As soon as I entered the office, a familiar fragrance blew towards me. A woman in a professional suit was sitting in the boss chair. Her tight clothes showed off her curvy figure to the fullest. Suyun raised her eyebrows and looked at Chu Chen, then looked at the team leader next to her. "Show him the file." The team leader had a flattering smile on his face as he handed a few sheets of paper to Chu Chen. When he looked at him, there was a hint of excitement in his eyes and his voice was filled with gritted teeth. "Here is the document to be signed, take a look." Chu Chen didn't understand what was going on and took the document with a bewildered look on his face. Since when did the factory become so particular? Normally, when someone was fired, they would just be told to pack up and leave, but now there was an extra procedure. Chu Chen looked at the pieces of paper in his hand with a confused look on his face. There were black words written clearly on them. "This is not a letter of resignation, but a transfer notice." What? I was appointed as a secretary and a part-time driver. I wasn't fired. Chu Chen widened his eyes in disbelief, his eyes full of surprise. What's wrong? Don't you want to? Suyun looked at Chu Chen with a hint of smile in her eyes. Chu Chen shook his head fiercely. "No, I just thought I would be fired, but I didn't expect." Suyun snorted, turned to the team leader and said, "You go down first. I have something to talk to him alone." The team leader nodded, turned around and left, closing the door. Only Suyun and Chu Chen were left in the office. Suyun cleared her throat and said, "I thought carefully about what you said yesterday. It's not bad. I agree. Then let's do as you said and cultivate our relationship. But I will only give you a month at most. If you still can't do it after a month, don't blame me for being rude." Chu Chen nodded repeatedly, gently wiped the cold sweat from his forehead, and felt extremely happy in his heart. I didn't expect that the boss who seemed cold and ruthless actually had a soft side. Let's go. I'm going to inspect the factory. You can come with me and get familiar with the secretary's job. Chu Chen nodded vigorously and followed Suyun. Suyun walked very slowly. The clacking sound of her high heels reached Chu Chen's ears and seemed to blend with the sound of her heartbeat miraculously. The worker who had been talking to Chu Chen earlier looked around and was overjoyed to see Chu Chen coming over. He was about to speak, but when he saw Suyun next to him, he quickly shut up and lowered his head. Chapter 6 Unique Preference. The worker didn't know Suyun, but judging from the way Suyun was dressed, he should be a boss-level figure. Such people usually came to inspect the work. If he accidentally offended such a big shot, he would have to pack up and leave. The others also saw Suyun and Chu Chen standing next to Suyun. The team leader came to Suyun respectfully and said, "Boss, I have done as you said and gathered everyone here. Please come in." I don't know when a boss chair was placed next to it, which looked particularly out of place on the construction site full of cement. There was even an umbrella next to it. Suyun glanced at them with disdain, remaining indifferent. She raised her head and glanced at everyone present, her eyes moving back and forth between the few people at the top. Those people don't get along with Chu Chen and usually like to make sarcastic remarks. One of them is a relative of the supervisor and relies on this relationship to do all kinds of evil. But due to this relationship, the others can only swallow their anger. "Come out." Suyun pointed at the 30-something man who was leading the group. The man chuckled twice and stared at Suyun unscrupulously. "I heard that Manager Lee is your uncle." Yes, what's the matter, boss?" Although other people had heard that the boss of the factory was a woman, they had never seen her. After all, someone who could run such a place couldn't possibly be a beautiful woman in her 20s. Now, hearing the man's words, several people widened their eyes in surprise. "There was a problem with a batch of cement delivered some time ago. I remember you were in charge of it, right?" As soon as these words came out, the man was stunned on the spot. Some time ago, they needed to transport a batch of cement. Although this batch of cement was not a valuable item, the person in charge at the time was indeed a man, but he was the nephew of the supervisor, so they just found someone to replace him and the matter was left unresolved. Unexpectedly, the old matter would be brought up again. The man suppressed the smile on his face, feeling uneasy in his heart, and cold sweat kept oozing out of his forehead. "Boss, this. No need to say more. Tell me, what should we do according to the factory rules?" Suyun turned and looked at the person next to her. "According to the factory's rules." The team leader spoke cautiously, but before he could finish his sentence he was interrupted by Suyun with a frown. "I'm not talking to you, don't say anything, you speak." Suyun pointed at Chu Chen. Chu Chen was stunned for a moment and looked at Suyun in disbelief. Not only that, seeing Suyun's actions, the others' eyes widened, especially the man in the lead, who stared at Suyun in disbelief. "According to the factory's rules, you will be fired after deducting 1 month's salary." They had already familiarized themselves with the factory rules when they entered the factory, and Chu Chen could even recite them by heart. "Okay, you heard it, and since you messed up this matter, then the rules are what they are, and you can get out now." The light words were like a bolt of lightning striking the man's head. The man looked at Chu Chen fiercely, and the malice in his eyes seemed to be bursting out. "Little bastard." The 3 words were spoken very softly, but Chu Chen still caught them clearly. "Boss, I think there must be some misunderstanding about this matter. After all, he was not the only one responsible for the previous batch of cement." A rough voice came from the side, and a light flashed in the man's eyes, as if he saw a life-saving straw, and he took a few steps forward with joy. "Uncle." The man who came jogging over was in his 40s or 50s, with a body full of fat and a shiny bald head, which made people feel nauseous for no reason. "Shut up, little bastard, and stand aside." After being glared at by his uncle, the man stopped talking and stood obediently by the side, like a quail. Manager Lee chuckled twice, looking at the boss with a lewd look in his eyes. "Boss, as far as I know, this matter is not just his fault. I asked this kid to do it, but he was not there at the time. If he was there, things would not have gone wrong. No matter how much punishment is imposed, it should be this kid." Manager Lee pointed at Chu Chen. He rushed over and had no idea what had happened. He thought Chu Chen was still that ordinary newcomer. "Why are you staring?" Chu Chen glanced at Manager Lee and was immediately retorted. "A little bastard dares to act so arrogantly in front of me. I really feel itchy." If Suyun hadn't been here, Manager Lee would have slapped her. He always relied on his status to do whatever he wanted, and people around him didn't dare to provoke him. "Why, my secretary, is it your turn to lecture me?" There was a hint of coldness in Suyun's eyes. "If I hadn't come, the name of this factory would have been changed tomorrow. It would have become your Lee family's factory, right? Lee Yofu, I allowed you to do some things because of your brother, but you kept crossing my line. What? Do you want to climb over my head?" Suyun was able to reach her current position, so naturally she was not a kind person. She had long been fed up with Li Youfu's arrogance, and she took this opportunity to get rid of him. Manager Li had a face full of fat, which made his face look stiff. His eyeballs were rolling around, and a trace of resentment flashed across his eyes. Damn, this little girl, if I could do something to her now, I would definitely teach this old woman a lesson. Since you are so protective of your nephew, you don't need to come. Starting tomorrow, a new supervisor will be appointed. You will see him then. Okay, go back to work first. Suyun's eyes were full of coldness. What? Did I hear it right? The boss wants to fire Manager Li because of an employee. Doesn't this Manager Li have someone above him? Who is this new guy? Could it be that the person behind him is more powerful than Manager Li? I don't know. I haven't seen anything special about this kid before. Several people around were whispering, talking in low voices while secretly glancing at Chu Chen. Suyun turned to Chu Chen and said, "The new supervisor hasn't arrived yet. Your job today is to supervise them. Now that your working hours are up, you can go home after get off work." After saying that, Suyun turned around and left in a hurry. Since she started talking, the cell phone in her bag had been buzzing non-stop, as if there was something urgent. As soon as Suyun left, the man who had been talking to Chu Chen came over immediately, his eyes sparkling and full of admiration. This man was not very old, only in his 20s, and was one of the younger ones in the factory. "Hey brother, what's your relationship with that beautiful boss? Why is he so protective of you?" The man's eyes were full of curiosity and a hint of mockery. Chu Chen coughed slightly, his eyes dodging. "Maybe, I work more seriously. TSK, if you don't want to say it, forget it. No one will believe such perfunctory words no matter who you give them to." Seeing that Chu Chen was unwilling to talk, the man curled his lips and turned to do his work. Chu Chen stretched his neck. He hadn't recovered from his joy yet and his heart was pounding. Chapter 7, Encountering a Roadblock. Chu Chen spent the whole day in a daze. It was already afternoon when the meeting ended. He strolled around for 3 or 4 hours. When it was time to get off work, Chu Chen followed the crowd out. Along the way, everyone who had attended the meeting during the day stared at Chu Chen with a very strange look. The strange look made Chu Chen feel creepy, and one could even hear their whispers. Chu Chen took a few quick steps, stopped at a dark alley, and took a few breaths. This is a shortcut that Chu Chen doesn't usually take. But today the looks from those people were so strange that he couldn't stand them and planned to take a detour. These people are too gossipy. Once they hear something, they keep talking. It's really unbearable. Chu Chen felt like he was being watched like a monkey. After walking in the alley for a while, the cold wind gently lifted his sweat-soaked hair. Chu Chen shook his head, and the heat on his face faded a lot, and he felt refreshed. The previous feeling of being treated like a monkey also completely disappeared. "It's you who touched my brother." Before I took a few steps forward, I heard a man's rough voice behind me. Chu Chen turned around in confusion. He saw a group of people following him from behind. They were wearing black leather jackets and holding iron bars. The man in the lead had a rough build and a bearded face with a scar cut in the middle. He looked very scary. "Who are you?" The younger brother standing next to the man curled his lips, a cunning look flashed in his eyes. He glanced at the boss, and took a few steps forward. "You don't even know who our boss is. Did you do this to Brother Tiger?" "Brother Tiger?" Chu Chen searched in his mind. "Oh, you mean Wang Hu?" Chu Chen looked up and down at the men. There were more than a dozen of them in total. The others had dyed hair of various colors, like light bulbs, emitting a long and leisurely glow. Only the leading man and a tall man next to him were dressed normally. The tall man had muscular body and his straight suit stretched out his outline. "What do you want to do?" "Of course I'll kill you." The younger brother next to him was waving the steel pipe excitedly, and couldn't wait to hit Chu Chen in the face. Etc. The leader waved his hand and pushed away the steel pipe of his younger brother. "Boy, I heard that you owe Wang Hu 50,000 yuan. Well, since you are working here alone, you must be a poor man. I won't make things difficult for you today. 100,000 yuan, not a penny less. As long as you bring it to me tomorrow, I will let you go. 100,000 yuan. What a huge sum. This boss looks decent, but he is even more ruthless than the bald guy. 100,000 yuan, forget it. I will pay you back the money you owe me before, but I won't give you a penny of this extra money." You still dare to be stubborn when death is imminent. Our eldest brother is giving you a chance, you must not refuse a toast and drink a forfeit. With your small body, be careful. I will hit you twice and your bones will be broken into pieces. So you don't agree? I've already said this. I'll give what I should give, but if you ask for more, I won't give you a penny. Chu Chen's face looked extremely ugly. He had never seen such a scoundrel. He was indeed the same type of person as Wang Hu, greedy and unscrupulous. Okay, what are you still standing there for? Come on. Chu Chen subconsciously covered his head with his hands. The next second, there was a bang and a white light flashed in front of him, but it seemed that only he could see this white light. The white light blocked an attack for him, and his arm was unharmed. Instead, the man holding the steel rod was bounced several meters away. Damn, what is this kid's arm made of? Why is it so hard? The man holding the steel rod grimaced in pain, his hands covered in blood. Chu Chen touched his arm in disbelief. There was not even a scratch on his arm. Everything that had just happened seemed like a dream and he was unable to react for a moment. Seeing this, the other people rushed over with weapons in hand, each one looking ferocious and vicious. Chu Chen stared at them for a moment. Without moving his breath, a powerful force surged in his body. All kinds of unheard of moves appeared in Chu Chen's mind one by one. The next second, as if someone was controlling Chu Chen's body involuntarily dodged the iron rod and moved to the side. Chu Chen kicked the leading man and with a loud bang, the man was kicked out, leaving a deep dent in the wall. His entire body of bones seemed to be broken apart. He collapsed limply on the ground, spitting blood from his mouth, and breathing weakly. What's going on? Damn, is this what Brother Tiger was talking about? At first they also heard what Wang Hu said and thought he was exaggerating, but they didn't expect it to be true. Could this kid be a martial artist? Several people looked horrified and couldn't help but take a step back. The leading man had a vicious look in his eyes and muttered something to the tall man next to him. The man nodded slightly and rubbed his fists, his knuckles creaking from being squeezed. Then let me see how strong you are. The man was a fighting coach. He had developed a body of muscular body through long years of fitness training. He was like a solid wall of steel. He stood in front of Chu Chen with great power. Chu Chen could feel the man's surging power before he even got close. Chu Chen had a sneer on his lips. Even though the man stood in front of him like a wall, Chu Chen was not afraid at all. The man swung his fists with great force, one punch after another. The air around him seemed to be torn apart, and each punch brought with it a strong wind. The breeze brushed across Chu Chen's face, lifting the strands of hair on his forehead. The man was very fast, but in front of Chu Chen, he slowed down a lot, as if he was in slow motion. Chu Chen dodged his attack effortlessly. Every move of the man seemed to be within Chu Chen's expectations, and every move could be avoided accurately. The man waved his fist for a long time, but didn't even touch Chu Chen's hair. Chu Chen was like a ghost, dodging continuously, so fast that it dazzled the others. Even the eldest brother who was leading the group looked at this scene in disbelief, his eyes full of surprise. He personally invited this fighting coach, who had worked in an underground boxing ring before and was a champion for several times. He was basically invincible in this area. Now he is facing a little weakling, but he has no way to deal with him. Even if this little weakling just keeps dodging, he is still a remarkable person to be able to hold out for such a long time under the boxing champion. Boss, what should we do now? This guy doesn't look like someone we can handle. Chapter 8 Going Somewhere. The boss' eyes were unclear. He turned his head and glanced at his younger brothers present, then turned his head to look at Chu Chen. At this time, all the younger brothers had already rushed over, holding steel rods in their hands. Even so, their legs and feet were shaking constantly, and their eyes were full of fear. Many of the younger brothers looked at the boss timidly. After seeing the cases of several people nearby, they didn't dare to go over there for fear of ending up like the man next to them. The corners of Chu Chen's mouth curled up slightly, and the coldness in his eyes seemed to overflow. He glanced at everyone present, and that cold gaze made everyone shiver. The fighting coach at the side looked at Chu Chen in disbelief. He had learned fighting for many years and was invincible. Now he was beaten like this by a young boy. It was a shame. The fighting coach's eyes were red, and he fell into a state of madness. He took advantage of Chu Chen's inattention and rushed over quickly. The steel pipe in his hand was almost clenched with marks, and veins on his hands bulged. Just you. Chu Chen didn't even look at it and perfectly dodged the opponent's attack. When the opponent passed by him, he kicked him out. The power of this kick was extremely huge. With a thud, the man flew out and hit the previous groove. His entire back made a loud bang, and even the wall shook 3 times. Chu Chen shook his head and his eyes gradually became clear. Just now it seemed as if a hermit master had taken control of his body and everything was out of his control, but now he was gradually regaining consciousness. Chu Chen looked at the man in front of him, then looked at the several people lying on the ground beside him, and a hint of surprise flashed across his eyes. This happened once before. This time, Chu Chen was just slightly surprised and quickly calmed down. Chu Chen was about to step forward, but found that the boss in front of him had a blurred face, as if covered by something. Even though he was so close, he couldn't see the other person's face clearly. The sudden scene made Chu Chen stand there in a daze, staring at the boss in a daze. The boss felt terrified by Chu Chen's gaze, and a chill ran down his back. Why are you staring at me like that? The fighting coach he personally hired couldn't do anything to Chu Chen, and the boss's attitude also became much gentler. After all, if he was not careful, he might end up like the fighting coach. Chu Chen coughed slightly, stared at the boss carefully for a while and said, "Something might happen at home recently, so you'd better be careful." This made no sense, and after hearing it, the boss's face immediately darkened. "Are you cursing me?" Chu Chen sneered. "Believe it or not, I've come to this. As for the money, what I just said is what it is now. I don't want this to happen a 3rd time, otherwise, I'll make you and him end up like this." Chu Chen pointed at the fighting coach who was lying unconscious on the ground next to him. Looking at Chu Chen walking out leisurely, the boss gritted his teeth and wished he could tear Chu Chen apart and eat him. Chu Chen also felt the boss's gaze, but he was not afraid at all. He walked out slowly and even waved his hand happily. "Are you okay?" Familiar words came from the side. Chu Chen turned around and saw a half-grown young man looking at him timidly. The young man was wearing factory clothes and his head was tucked up, looking like a mouse. "I saw a group of people go in. They didn't do anything to you, did they?" Chu Chen raised his eyebrows. Ever since he awakened that ability, Chu Chen has been able to clearly perceive everyone's emotions. He also clearly caught the flash of guilt in the man's eyes. Chu Chen sneered, "You just exposed my address to them, and now you're pretending to be a good person." As soon as these words came out, the man's face turned pale and he looked at Chu Chen in disbelief. "What nonsense are you talking about?" Chu Chen snorted coldly, interrupting him. "You know what I'm saying. We're all co-workers in the same factory. There's no need to be so extreme. But since you've tricked me, I'll naturally return the favor. You'd better be careful. Chu Chen is not a saint. If the other party dares to treat him like this, he will have to bear the price of his revenge." The man's throat moved violently, and he looked at Chu Chen's leaving back with vicious eyes. After Chu Chen solved the problem, he turned around and went home. His home is in an old neighborhood with poor security facilities. The street lights flicker at night, giving off an ominous atmosphere. Chu Chen frowned slightly, and when he was about to go upstairs, he found a luxury car parked downstairs. The black body of the car was shining with a faint light, exuding the aura of a luxury car. Chu Chen's eyes flashed with surprise. "I didn't expect that there would be luxury cars in such a shabby community like ours." Chu Chen muttered to himself, sighing as he walked up. "Why, you don't even say hello when you see me." A familiar voice sounded from behind him, and Chu Chen turned his head in surprise. A woman with wavy black hair came out of the car. She was wearing a black halter dress and a red rose on her chest. It was a brooch, inlaid with diamonds, and looked extremely luxurious. Under the dim light, the woman's eyes are alluring, making her look even more charming. "Boss, why are you here?" Chu Chen's eyes were full of surprise. How did she know his home? Chu Chen didn't remember telling anyone his home address. "You work in the factory, so I naturally know your home address. It's 8 o'clock in the evening. Do you have anything else to do in the evening?" Suyun unconsciously touched her hair with her fingers and glanced elsewhere. "Nothing, boss, what's up? Since you have nothing to do tonight, go somewhere with me." Chapter 9: Leaving the club. It's so late. Chu Chen was halfway through his words when he saw Suyun's unhappy expression and quickly held back the rest of his words. Now Suyun is his immediate superior, and he could be fired if he is not careful. Chu Chen has finally gotten a good job, and he is reluctant to give it up. Chu Chen put on a smile on his face. Since you asked, I will definitely go over. Suyun nodded with satisfaction, then get in the car. Suyun was wearing a low-cut black dress. The moment she bent down to open the car door, the swaying of her chest appeared in Chu Chen's eyes. If he looked down a little more, he could even see the seductive cleavage. Chu Chen's cheeks turned slightly red, and he quickly looked away and sat in the passenger seat. Suyun drove very fast, and in less than half an hour, the car stopped outside a high-end club. Several groups of security guards were standing at the door of the club. They were fully equipped and looked at the two of them with dignity. Suyun handed the membership card in her hand to the security guard. The security guard's serious expression immediately eased and he looked at Suyun with a smile. Dear Ms. Su, your box is on the 3rd floor. Someone will take you up there. The security guard's expression changed so quickly that Chu Chen didn't have time to react, and a hint of surprise flashed across his eyes. Suyun walked in front and Chu Chen followed behind. After walking a few steps, a fragrant breeze suddenly blew in his face, and then a warm body leaned against Chu Chen. Chu Chen's body stiffened and he turned to look at Suyun. Suyun had turned back at some point and was holding his arm intimately. As she walked forward, the 2 lumps on her chest were rubbing against his arm. Chu Chen's blood was boiling bit by bit, his ears were extremely red, the fragrance kept flowing into his nose, and his steps became much stiffer. Suyun pulled Chu Chen and continued walking forward as if nothing had happened. The 2 men quickly arrived at the 3rd floor. Before they reached the private room, they heard the sounds of several people drinking and having fun. The voice of one of them was extremely rough and could be heard from a long distance away. Suyun pushed open the door of the private room, and the voices inside stopped abruptly. The man in the lead was probably in his 30s, with a bald spot on his head, and the light was so bright that it was blinding. There were several middle-aged men nearby. Except for the leading man who had a big belly, the others were as thin as monkeys. The leading man's eyes fell on Suyun. He looked her up and down, swallowed uncontrollably, his eyes full of greed. Hey, isn't this Boss Su? You're here so soon. Who is this? This is my secretary, Boss Lin. I think there were 2 people who were scheduled to meet before. What's going on with these people? It's so late, it's naturally inconvenient for me to come alone, so what's wrong with bringing a few more people? Didn't you bring more people too? How could Suyun not know what the other person was thinking? This guy was in his 30s and had a wife, but he was a playboy and liked to touch other girls. Suyun brought Chu Chen here just to guard against this philandering man. Since the other party had already said so, the 2 of them were embarrassed to say anything more. Chu Chen frowned as he came in. The smell in here was really bad, with all kinds of odors mixed together. It was like entering a gas chamber and he almost couldn't breathe. Suyun coughed slightly, picked a relatively clean sofa and sat down. Chu Chen sat next to Suyun. The eyes of several men around were always on Suyun, and their obscene eyes kept passing across Suyun's chest, and their saliva almost dripped onto the ground. The overly hot gaze made Suyun's eyes flash with a hint of displeasure. Suyun coughed lightly and said, Boss Lin, is it time to settle the final payment for our previous cooperation? Boss Lin patted his belly and chuckled twice. You know, I've been discussing another cooperation recently, and that cooperation requires a lot of money. As for the final payment, you don't have to rush. Let me wait for 2 days. Besides, we are so familiar with each other, we should maintain some trust. There is no way I won't pay the balance. Looking at Boss Lin's confident look, Suyun couldn't help sneering in her heart. This guy has a new story. He said something similar when I came to talk to him before. Now, several weeks have passed and is still saying the same thing. Looking at Boss Lin's playful smile, Suyun wanted to tear his face off on the spot. However, if you need the money urgently, I can give it to you. But it's not a good idea to discuss such an important contract here. Why don't you come to my house for a cup of tea and talk about the contract? Boss Lin chuckled, his eyes constantly falling on Suyun, and everyone present understood what he meant. There were people making obscene laughter. They looked down on Suyun, thinking that a female factory manager could accomplish nothing but rely on men to get to the top. Even if the 2 sides discussed cooperation, they still looked down on Suyun. However, if they could taste a beauty like Suyun, it would be like going to heaven. A dark light flashed in Chu Chen's eyes, and his hands clenched into fists. Suyun did not say anything, but a blind man next to her saw this and took it as Suyun's consent, and quickly came over. Seeing that the pair of dirty hands were about to touch Suyun's hands, Chu Chen quickly reached out and opened them. "What the hell are you doing?" The fat meat that was about to reach my mouth was gone, and just when I was about to touch those little hands, an obstacle appeared. "I'm sorry, I'm the boss's secretary. If you have anything to say, please tell me." The boss is not in a position to speak. Chu Chen's expression was indifferent, and his tone was cold and unyielding. As soon as these words were spoken, the people around him shuddered, and several pairs of eyes glared at Chu Chen, but the expression on Chu Chen's face did not change at all. There was a hint of surprise in Suyun's eyes. She turned her head and glanced at Chu Chen, as if she had not expected Chu Chen to defend her at this time. A strange feeling emerged in my heart. Chu Chen also noticed Suyun's gaze, turned around and gave Suyun a smile, as if to comfort her. For some reason, seeing this smile, Suyun's heart calmed down. "You're just a pretty boy. Do you think you have the right to speak in this situation?" Boss Lin's face turned black, and the people around him kept cursing. Especially the men who didn't get to touch Chu Chen before, they wanted to skin him alive. "Boss Lin, what you said is wrong. My secretary, how can you not speak in this situation? I don't think you are sincere in discussing cooperation with me. I will give you one last week. If you still don't plan to pay the final payment, we will see you in court." After saying that, Suyun held the bag in her left hand and left, holding Chu Chen's hand with her right hand. When Chu Chen left, he turned around and glanced at the man, his eyes unclear. The two men walked out of the private room and quickly left the club, taking a long breath. Chapter 10. After getting drunk. It was too smoky and foul inside. They only stayed in there for less than half an hour, and they felt like something was stuck in their throats and kept choking. The fresh air outside made the two of them feel much better. Suyun looked at Chu Chen with a complicated expression, ready to say something, but the words were on the tip of her tongue and she swallowed them back in the end. "Boss, if there's nothing else, I'll go back first." "Wait, come with me for a drink." Chu Chen looked at Suyun in surprise, as if he had not expected such words to come out of Suyun's mouth. Chu Chen stood there in a daze, not reacting for a long time. "What's wrong? You don't even want to drink with me?" There was a hint of grievance in Suyun's tone, which was completely different from the strong woman she was during the day. The night seemed to have torn through her protective shield, revealing her soft inner self. Looking at Suyun like this, Chu Chen somehow agreed. By the time they reacted, the two had already arrived at a tavern. This is a very remote tavern with only one bartender in it. Suyun is a regular here. When the bartender saw Suyun coming in, he smiled and said, "Hello, Boss Su, is it the same today?" Suyun nodded. "Just order whatever you want to drink." Suyun handed the drink menu in her hand to Chu Chen. The bartender raised his eyebrows, turned to look at Chu Chen, then looked at Suyun, his eyes shifting back and forth between the two people, with a hint of unknown emotion in his eyes. Chu Chen rarely comes to places like this, and the names of the wines there are also strange. "Give me the same one as hers." "Good." The bartender moved quickly, and in just a moment, 2 glasses of wine were placed in front of the two men. The light red wine was served in the glass and garnished with some lemon slices, which looked extremely refreshing. The aroma of the wine entered Chu Chen's nose. Chu Chen took a sip gently. The sweet taste bloomed on the tip of his tongue, followed by the spicy taste. His tongue was so spicy that it seemed like it was about to break. The intense stimulation made Chu Chen's eyes well up with tears. In just a short while, Suyun had finished a glass of wine. Seeing Chu Chen's expression, the bartender burst out laughing. "Don't be fooled by the fresh look of this wine, it is actually the strongest wine in our store. Speaking of which, this is the first time I see her bring a man here. Are you her boyfriend? This glass of wine is very strong." Suyun's alcohol tolerance is okay, but she still can't resist the impact of this wine. Maybe she is in a bad mood, so the wine today is particularly strong. Looking at Suyun, who was silent beside him, Chu Chen chuckled and shook his head. "I'm not her boyfriend, I'm her secretary." When the bartender heard what he said, a hint of surprise flashed in his eyes, but then he understood and chuckled without saying anything. While the two were talking, Suyun drank another glass. At this moment, Suyun's cheeks were flushed, and her whole body exuded the aroma of wine, as if she had been marinated. The bartender checked the time and said, "It's getting late, you guys should go home." There was a hint of surprise in Chu Chen's eyes. They had been in for less than half an hour and had only drunk 2 glasses of wine, so why was the store about to close? But this is the rule of the store after all, and he can't force the other party to open the store. Chu Chen let out a long sigh and carried Su-yun up with great effort. Su-yun's head drooped on Chu Chen's shoulder, her whole body limp like a puddle of mud, her 2 hands tightly clinging to Chu Chen's shoulders. The scent of alcohol sprayed on Chu Chen's neck, and Chu Chen's earlobes turned red. Chu Chen half-armed Su-yun's waist. The skin under his hands was burning hot, and even his own body temperature rose a lot. After finally putting Su-yun in the car and preparing to stand up, he staggered and almost fell on Su-yun. Chu Chen's gaze moved downwards. The dress was already low to begin with, and after being adjusted just now, the spring light was revealed, and the fair skin was revealed before his eyes. Chu Chen's throat was shaking violently, and the blood around his nasal cavity suddenly boiled and gushed out with a roar, but was forced back by Chu Chen. Chu Chen remained calm, and even though his heart was beating like a drum, he still obediently adjusted Su-yun's posture. Su-yun let out a murmur from her nose, and Jeniner's voice sounded like heavenly music, crashing into Chu Chen's ears. Even though Chu Chen is a gentleman, seeing such a tempting scene, his mouth is constantly drooling. With such a beautiful woman around, no one can control himself. I clearly only drank 1 glass of wine, but smelling the alcohol around me, I felt as if I was drunk too. Chu Chen took a long breath and quickly sat in another driver's seat. Both of them were drunk and unable to drive. Su-yun leaned her head against the car window with her hair hanging on her chest, and only the rise and fall of her chest could be seen slightly. Chu Chen sighed, picked up his phone and called a designated driver, and the 2 of them waited here slowly. Su-yun did not sleep well, and a sound kept coming out of her mouth, as if she was calling someone. Chu Chen looked at Su-yun quietly. With the arrival of night, the last bit of her protection faded away. Now she was like a little girl, crying and making a fuss. This was the first time Chu Chen saw Su-yun like this. His eyes were full of curiosity. When he saw her little movements, he laughed subconsciously. She is a woman after all. No matter how strong she is still a little girl at heart. Chu Chen had been full of respect for Su-yun before, but after tonight, he had a different feeling. The designated driver arrived quickly. He was a man in his 20s with fair skin and handsome looks. Chu Chen looked the designated driver up and down and originally planned to let him take Su-yun back, but after hesitating for a moment, he got into the car himself. After all, a drunk girl, even if the price seems harmless, should not be allowed to go home alone just in case. Follow this address. Chu Chen had Su-yun's address, so he sent the address of the villa to the designated driver. Su-yun nodded slightly. Chu Chen had already pulled Su-yun to sit in the back seat, leaning against Chu Chen. The designated driver drove steadily, and after half an hour, the car stopped smoothly in front of the villa. After paying the money, Chu Chen took Su-yun to another place with great effort. Before I could get close, an aunt in her 50s came out in a hurry. "Hey, why are you so drunk?" The worry in the aunt's eyes didn't seem fake, and she was still wearing an apron. "You are Chu Chen, right?" When Chu Chen heard his aunt calling out his name, a hint of surprise flashed in his eyes and he nodded blankly. "I am Chu Chen, but auntie, how do you know my name?" "Of course I know your name." Chapter 11 Roadblock. Auntie chuckled and looked at Chu Chen with a hint of tenderness in her eyes. "Xiao Chen talked about you before, saying that you are a very good person. I've said to myself before." Chu Chen's eyes were full of surprise, but they had just met recently, how could he be talking about him? Chu Chen was about to ask more questions, but the aunt had already helped Xiao He in. Chu Chen swallowed the words that were about to come to his throat. "Then auntie, I'll leave first." The aunt did not try to keep him, but just smiled and nodded. It was getting late, so Chu Chen rubbed his arms and turned to leave. The villa areas here are fixed areas, with security guards outside. Cars of people who are not from the villa areas cannot come in. If Chu Chen wants to take a taxi, he can only take one from outside. The street lights on this road were emitting a dim light, and the wind had started to blow around at some point, and it was blowing non-stop. Chu Chen was wearing thin clothes, and when the cold wind blew, his whole body couldn't help but shiver. I don't know when, a warm current emerged from my lower abdomen, as if there was a little sun hidden inside my body, constantly spreading warmth to other parts of my body. But in just a moment, his whole body became warm, as if bathing in the sun. Chu Chen narrowed his eyes slightly, his fatigue was swept away, and the smell of alcohol on his body dissipated a lot. Although he didn't know where the warmth in his body came from, Chu Chen could feel that this warmth brought him only benefits and no harm. After walking for about 10 minutes, Chu Chen arrived outside the security booth. The security guard was sitting in the booth, staring at the surveillance camera without blinking, without even looking at Chu Chen. Chu Chen was wearing very cheap clothes. The security guards working in the villa were all shrewd people. They could tell at a glance that a person like this driver was not worthy of their attention. There were very few cars at night, and the area where Chu Chen was located was relatively remote. The taxi app stayed on for more than 10 minutes, but no car was willing to come. "Brother, are you sure it's here?" "Nonsense, Gangzi saw it with his own eyes and took a picture for me, how could he be wrong?" "But this is a villa area. The security inside the villa area is always strict, and there are patrols everywhere. How can we get in?" The younger brother looked at the older brother in embarrassment, and the older brother shook his strong arms and rolled his eyes. "Are you stupid? How could that guy live in the villa area with the clothes he's wearing? He'll be out soon. We'll just wait here." A familiar voice came from next door and reached Chu Chen's ears clearly. Chu Chen turned around and saw two figures, one big and one small, squatting on the curb not far away. Chu Chen could vaguely see the red light burning between them, and along with the dim light, the smoke blurred the cheeks of the two. Chu Chen narrowed his eyes, but even so, he was still able to recognize the identity of the big guy. He was the man who had caused trouble for him during the day, and he seemed to be a fighting coach. "I didn't expect this group of people to find this place." Chu Chen snorted coldly, a hint of disdain flashing in his eyes. After staying here for more than 10 minutes, there was still no movement on the mobile phone app. Chu Chen sighed and walked quickly towards the intersection. The intersection led to the commercial street, where it was easier to get a taxi. "Boss, look quickly, is that guy the one you're looking for?" The man was pushed unexpectedly and was about to get angry when he saw Chu Chen walking towards them with a calm expression, without a trace of fear. The boss dusted off his hands, threw his cigarette on the curb and stomped it out, then stood up and said, "It's him. I didn't expect this guy to show up so soon. Let's go." Chu Chen also saw these two people, but ignored them and planned to go around them. However, these two people had no intention of letting Chu Chen go, and they stood in front of Chu Chen, one on the left and one on the right. Chu Chen raised his eyebrows and looked at the coach. "Your recovery ability is quite strong. You were beaten like that, but now you are back to normal." Chu Chen was also a little surprised when he first saw the coach. After all, everyone else had seen how miserable the coach was at the time. It was truly a miracle that he recovered so quickly. "The person you're talking about is not me, but my good-for-nothing brother. He must have practiced martial arts for decades in vain to be beaten into the hospital by a weakling like you." The man snorted coldly, with disdain in his eyes. The shorter man next to the man rubbed his fists, eager to try. "So what do you want to do here? To avenge your brother?" Chu Chen stared at the man with a sharp gaze, without a trace of emotion in his eyes, as if the person standing in front of him was not a person, but a corpse. This calm look made the man's heart go wild. His throat moved violently and he couldn't help but take a step back, but he reacted quickly. The man thought to himself, "What's wrong with this kid? Why is his aura so strong? Could it be?" Before he finished thinking, Chu Chen snorted coldly and walked around the two people, ignoring their dumbfounded looks, and walked forward leisurely. The time was almost up, his cell phone had only 20% battery left, and there were desolate mountains and wilderness around him. If he didn't go home, he would really have to sleep under the bridge. This brat. Chu Chen's behavior successfully aroused the man's anger. Two flames ignited in the man's eyes. He took a few quick steps and rushed over, waving his fists with great force. Chu Chen had his back to the man, but it was as if he had eyes on his back. The moment the fist came at him, he tilted his head and accurately dodged the man's attack. The man was shocked. "How is this possible? How could you dodge my attack?" Chu Chen didn't say anything. He turned around and punched the man on the bridge of his nose. In an instant, two streams of warm blood flowed down from the tip of the man's nose and slowly fell to the ground. The pain from being hit on the nose spread throughout his body. The man screamed, quickly took a few steps back, and bent over, covering his nose. The younger brother who came over from behind saw this scene and widened his eyes in surprise. He didn't even see clearly the movement of Chu Chen's punch before his fist hit his elder brother. "Brother! Are you okay? Brother!" The man covered his nose and panted heavily, like an angry bull, staring at Chu Chen with his scarlet eyes. "What are you still standing there for? Teach this kid a lesson." The younger brother swallowed, turned to look at his elder brother's miserable appearance, then looked at Chu Chen, and finally rushed over with his fists raised. He didn't believe how much strength a pretty boy could have. Chu Chen snorted coldly and was about to throw another punch when an iron rod was swung over from the side, blocking Chu Chen's movement. Chu Chen took a step back slightly and watched the iron rod hit the place where he was originally standing. Chapter 12 Negotiation. Turning around, I saw a black van stopped not far away and several familiar people walked out of it. The man in the lead was the previous boss, but he was a little different now. Not only was there a horrifying scar on the boss's face, but there was also something like a bug crawling around. At first, Chu Chen thought he was seeing things, but when he looked closely, he saw that the boss's face was indeed covered with a shadow. It was like the shadow of a bug, crawling horizontally on the scar, forming a huge cross, as if it had been sentenced to death. Chu Chen frowned. What was going on? Why was he seeing this? What was that thing crawling on his face? While Chu Chen was still thinking, a pair of big hands reached out. They were the boss's hands. The palms were extremely rough, like dry bark. As his palms touched, a flood of knowledge suddenly flooded into his head, and Chu Chen blurted out, "Is anyone in your family seriously ill recently?" After saying this, everyone was stunned. The younger brother next to him frowned and said, "What the hell are you talking about? How dare you curse our eldest brother?" The number of people they brought this time was obviously much larger than last time. With a large number of people, these people became more confident. They looked at Chu Chen fiercely, and the iron bars in their hands were ready to move. As they spoke, several people wanted to attack Chu Chen, but before they could do anything, the boss waved his hand. "Wait, how did you know that?" Something had indeed happened in his family. The old man in his family had recently fallen seriously ill and was lying in the hospital, but few people knew about this, let alone the young boy in front of him. The old man is the backbone of the entire gang and holds great power, so the news of his serious illness cannot be leaked. Once it is leaked, the underworld will be in chaos. Countless people covered this position. Even though the power of the underworld is not as great as before, there are still people who want to get to the top overnight. A dark light flashed in the black boss's eyes, and there was a bit of inquiry in the look he gave Chu Chen, but more of it was murderous. At first he just wanted to teach the kid in front of him a lesson, but if he was sent by another person, there would be no need to let him get out alive today. Seeing the boss's look, the younger brothers beside him didn't dare to say a word and stood there silently. The others looked around in confusion, not knowing what was going on. Chu Chen chuckled, "It seems that this matter is very important to you. In this case, why don't we talk about it somewhere else?" Chu Chen didn't know where he got the courage from. It was as if the warmth in his body eliminated his timidity, and the words he spoke were unusually calm, without any ripples. The black boss looked at Chu Chen quietly, and suddenly smiled. "Okay, it seems that I underestimated you before, then let's find a place to sit down. There is a 24-hour coffee shop nearby, which is a good place for conversation. In fact, a van is the best choice." Even if Chu Chen had the courage, he would not dare to take their car easily. After all, no one knows what's in the car. If you get knocked out as soon as you get in, it would be a waste of time. Chu Chen and a few others slowly walked into the coffee shop. The guy making coffee inside just looked up and continued making coffee silently. It seemed as if he didn't care at all about the tension between them. "Tell me, how did you know that?" "I can tell. You have to know that if you often stay with people who are not in good health, you will be infected by their black energy. Anyone who knows a little bit about medicine can tell it at a glance." What Chu Chen said was correct. The black boss looked at Chu Chen with doubt, his eyes full of suspicion. This is too unscientific, but medical skills have always been so magical that the gangster boss also believed it a little. Chu Chen coughed lightly. "If you trust me, I can help you check that person, maybe I can cure him." Chu Chen knew that just saying that sentence would not be his bargaining chip. Moreover, the man in front of him gave him a very ominous premonition. He was able to defeat them before because they brought fewer people. Although he brought more people this time, what gave him an ominous feeling was not the number of the other side, but a feeling of extreme danger. These men were dressed in suits and there were several vans parked around. One couldn't see inside the vans from the outside, but Chu Chen could vaguely feel that they were definitely full of people, and everyone had bad intentions. You're very smart. I can think about it. The old man is staying in the hospital. The doctor has examined him and found that he is in very poor health and can only be kept alive with the best medicines. If this kid really has the ability to cure the old man, then it would naturally be a good thing for me. But if this kid can't cure the old man and is just talking nonsense, it won't be too late to kill him then. No matter which choice you make, it will not be bad for you. The gangster narrowed his eyes slightly, his brain working at high speed, and after he figured it all out, his expression eased a lot. So do you need to prepare anything? Chu Chen let go of his clenched heart, breathed a sigh of relief, and his stiff body relaxed a lot. Of course, I need to prepare some equipment. It would be even better if you have some. Chu Chen said this neither humbly nor arrogantly, without any guilt in his eyes. He looked straight at the black boss, as if he was very sure that the other party would agree. The black boss was silent for a moment, then he chuckled hoarsely, "Okay, Xiao, you can handle this matter. Just tell him if you need anything." The guy who was still making coffee slowly walked over and bowed respectfully to the black boss. "Got it, boss." The moment the young man moved, it was as if a poisonous snake attacked Chu Chen. His body turned cold and he tried hard to suppress the emotions in his heart. He thought that the several cars outside were all filled with gangsters' men, but he didn't expect that this coffee shop was also owned by a gangster. He originally thought that it would be safe enough not to enter the van, but he didn't expect to fall into the tiger's mouth. Chu Chen's calmness was beyond the black boss's expectation. The black boss looked at Chu Chen with amusement. He didn't expect that an ordinary person would have such a calm reaction when facing such a situation. It seems that I really underestimated him. I'll give you 1 day. Here's the address. I'll get someone to pick you up. Don't even think about running away. Believe me, if you dare to run away, you and your family will definitely not see the sun the day after tomorrow. The gangster had a smile on his face the whole time, but Chu Chen knew that what he said was true and he had the ability to do so. Chapter 13 Eavesdropping. If he was alone, Chu Chen wouldn't have to take his words to heart, but his sister-in-law was at home, and he couldn't let his sister-in-law bear this kind of danger for him. Don't worry, I'm not someone who doesn't keep my word. I'll come to this place tomorrow. This is what I need. I hope you can prepare it as soon as possible. Chu Chen picked up a pen and paper and wrote a few words on it. The black boss turned his head and looked at Xiao, who nodded gently. His nod was very small, but it still caught Chu Chen's attention. The black boss chuckled. Okay, you can go now. Chu Chen turned and left, forgetting to exit the app on his phone. He had missed several cars due to their delay just now, but Chu Chen had no intention of paying attention to these things. He hurriedly hailed another taxi and went home. Xiaowen's action just now appeared in Chu Chen's mind. That small amplitude represented his affirmation. Anyone who could become a gangster boss was definitely not as simple as a barrister. The other party might know some medical skills. Letting yourself write something is also a test for yourself. It was already 2 or 3 in the morning when Chu Chen returned home. The house was pitch dark. There was some reheated food on the table. Xiaojia's door was closed, so she must have fallen asleep. Chu Chen tiptoed back to his room and slowly fell asleep. Early the next morning, the alarm clock beside the bed was ticking madly. Chu Chen glanced at the alarm clock in a daze. It was 6 o'clock in the morning and he had only slept for 4 hours. Chu Chen took a long breath, shook his head, and sat up. 9 o'clock is the working time. Chu Chen walked out of the door yawning. The table was already full of breakfast and there was a note next to it. The note was written in Xiaojia's beautiful handwriting. Xiao Chen, the hospital just called and asked me to go back for a checkup. I'm leaving now. I just made the breakfast on the table. Eat it quickly before it gets cold. Put the plate directly on the table and I'll come back to clean it up. A warm feeling passed through Chu Chen's heart. The breakfast on the table was as delicious as ever. Chu Chen ate his breakfast cleanly, packed up and went to the factory. It was only 8 o'clock in the morning, but the roar of machines could already be heard in the factory. Chu Chen stretched his neck and was about to change into his work clothes. When he saw the empty bed, he remembered that he seemed to have been promoted. Chu Chen patted his head lightly, a hint of annoyance flashing in his eyes. Is this Secretary Chu? I'm the new supervisor. A young man's voice came from behind. Chu Chen turned around and saw that the man looked to be in his 30s. He was laughing and looked honest. He seems to be much more honest than the previous supervisor. After all, he was sent by the beautiful boss herself, so he must have some capabilities. Hello. Chu Chen smiled politely and nodded. Now that I've greeted you, I'll go to work first. Looking at the man's back as he left, Chu Chen recalled the contents of the document, turned around and hurried back to the office. Suyun sat in the office chair. She had changed her black suit from yesterday into a white suit. Black lace was faintly visible at the V-neck collar, and her big black wavy hair was tied up with a rubber band. She looked less charming and more pure. Seeing Chu Chen coming in, Suyun coughed, looked up for a few times, and pointed to the documents on the table. Since you are here, take a look at these documents. After you are done, go to the warehouse and sort them out and bring them over. There was a hint of excitement in Suyun's tone, and a smile unconsciously appeared on her face. Got it, boss. Chu Chen was just about to go out when he heard Suyun's call from behind again. By the way, thank you for what happened last night. There were a few red clouds on Suyun's face, her eyes were evasive, and she tried hard to pretend nothing had happened. The earlobes hidden under her hair were as red as gems. Chu Chen found the beautiful boss's expression interesting and deliberately moved closer. Boss, why is your face so red? Do you have a cold? You? Suyun was furious, but Chu Chen had already taken the opportunity to slip out of the office with a smug smile on his face. Suyun had no place to vent her anger, so she could only slam the table fiercely. Her entire face turned red and her cheeks were burning hot. Having teased the beautiful boss just now, Chu Chen felt a little better and walked into the archive room with a smile on his face. The person who opened and closed the archive room was an old man in his 50s with a kind smile. Seeing Chu Chen coming in, the old man smiled and greeted him. You are the new secretary, you really look very talented. There was a hint of surprise in Chu Chen's eyes. He didn't expect that this old man also knew his identity. Excuse me, do you know where these documents are? Chu Chen pointed to the books on the information. The third row, that whole column. With the old man's guidance, Chu Chen found all the books in just a moment. When he took the last book off the bookshelf, a faint sound came from behind him. The distance was not far, separated by several bookshelves, but the shrill voice still reached Chu Chen's ears. Not only was there a tinny sound, but there was also a strange water splashing sound. Chu Chen turned his head curiously and looked through the gap in the bookshelf. He saw a man and a woman sitting together. The two people had their backs to him and he could not see their faces clearly, but the two people were very close to each other, as if they were about to merge into one. Be careful not to let others find out. If they do, you're doomed. What are you afraid of? Don't you do this kind of thing often? Don't worry, as long as you let me touch you, the position of team leader will be yours. Are you telling the truth? Of course, let alone the position of team leader. Once my second uncle's matter is done, the position of boss will be yours. Okay, this is what you said. Don't lie to me. The voice was heard, followed by another strange sound. Listening to the conversation between the two, Chu Chen blushed. He didn't expect that he could actually see a live pornographic video after coming here to look for information. People nowadays are really open-minded. But what did he mean by that just now? Who is his second uncle? That said, could it be a threat to the beautiful boss? Chu Chen's heart was filled with alarm and he frowned. Should we tell the beautiful boss about this? Chu Chen was extremely conflicted. Although he heard the conversation between the two people, he did not record it. If he had no evidence, he would go and tell the beautiful boss. I'm afraid the other party won't believe me, and maybe even get blamed. Chu Chen's eyes were full of confusion. The two people were still hugging each other and making trouble. Chu Chen stood there in a daze, holding a book in his hand, not knowing whether to leave or stay. Chapter 14 Manager Ju. The two people kept hugging each other, and their voices kept reaching Chu Chen's ears. Chu Chen's cheeks became redder and his earlobes became redder. After about half an hour, the two reluctantly let go. The woman straightened her messed up clothes and looked at the man shyly. Don't forget your promise to me. After saying that, the woman left here from another path. Chu Chen was not very far away from the corridor, but the woman acted as if she didn't see Chu Chen and walked straight outside. Chu Chen breathed a sigh of relief, but just as he was about to go out with the book, a man's voice suddenly came from behind him. The man was angry. He walked a few steps to Chu Chen and pulled him over. "When did you get here, kid?" Chu Chen was frightened by the man's ferocious look, but he quickly reacted. Chu Chen ignored him, silently loosened his tie, and then looked up at the man. He knew this man. He was a senior executive here who came to inspect occasionally. He had just inspected here some time ago, so Chu Chen had a deep impression of him. Judging from the other party's appearance, he probably doesn't know that I have changed my identity, otherwise he would not have done such a thing. A sneer appeared on Chu Chen's lips, but a hint of amusement flashed in his eyes. "Manager Ju, what are you talking about? My boss asked me to come here to get the information. What's wrong? Are you afraid that I will tell others about the dirty things you two did?" Chu Chen raised his eyebrows and said it bluntly without any intention of hiding the matter. As soon as he said this, Manager Ju's face turned pale, and a trace of hatred flashed in his eyes. "What do you mean by this? Are you threatening me?" "That's not a threat at all. I'm just telling you what I saw." Chu Chen remained silent. Manager Ju gnashed his teeth in hatred, and whispered viciously in Chu Chen's ear, "How dare you, a newcomer, be so arrogant? Do you believe that I will make sure you can't get by here?" Chu Chen sneered. This guy really didn't know that his position had been promoted. He still had the same arrogant attitude as before. "It doesn't matter. If you want to fix it, then go ahead. I have other things to deal with, so I'll leave first." Chu Chen pushed the other person's hand away, turned around and left. Looking at Chu Chen's leaving back, Manager Ju gnashed his teeth in hatred, stomped his feet viciously, and the malice in his eyes seemed to overflow. After a while, Chu Chen put all the information in the office. Su Yun raised her eyebrows. "Why did you come back so late? Didn't you find the place?" Chu Chen chuckled and said, "I found it, but I encountered some problems on the way and was delayed for a while." Su Yun hummed and didn't ask any more questions. "There is another piece of information you need to get. It is in the hands of Manager Ju." As soon as these words came out, a hint of surprise flashed in Chu Chen's eyes. It's true that enemies always meet. Unexpectedly, the file was on him. Chu Chen raised his eyebrows, a little surprised. Su Yun looked up at him. "What's wrong?" Chu Chen shook his head. "It's okay, I'll go get the file back now." As soon as Chu Chen walked out, Manager Ju, who had changed his clothes, came out of the archive room. Chu Chen raised a smile on his face and walked over slowly. Manager Ju also saw Chu Chen, and the smile on his face disappeared instantly. "What do you want to do now?" "My boss asked me to come get a document." "Don't you even listen to him? You." Manager Ju scolded Chu Chen angrily, and the finger pointing at Chu Chen trembled violently because of excessive anger. Chu Chen kept smiling and pushed Manager Ju's hand away casually. "Manager Ju, don't be so angry. I just came here to get the documents, not to cause trouble. Why are you so angry?" You. Manager Ju was immediately furious. He said the same thing 3 times and his eyes turned black with anger. The moment Chu Chen approached, a slap was about to hit his face, but when it was within a finger's distance from Chu Chen, a pair of hands tightly grabbed Manager Ju's hand. Chu Chen sneered and raised his eyebrows. "Tell me, why did you give me such a big gift as soon as we met? I didn't tell anyone else about your dirty deeds, so you shouldn't hate me so much." This sentence undoubtedly touched Manager Ju's heart. Manager Ju was so angry that he staggered a few steps and couldn't recover for a long time. Chu Chen looked at his watch. Time was running out. If he continued wasting time like this, he would be late for the appointment he had made with Boss He. He is not a person who likes to be late. Chu Chen restrained his expression and looked at Manager Ju calmly. "I am here to get the information according to the boss's instructions. If you want to go against the boss, just stand here. Anyway, the boss is not blaming me." Manager Ju really didn't have the ability to go against Su Yun now. Even though he was angry, he could only hand the information to Chu Chen viciously. Chu Chen got the information and smiled softly. "Thank you very much, Manager Ju. Goodbye." Looking at Chu Chen's departing back, Manager Ju rubbed his upper and lower teeth continuously, and a crunching sound came out of his mouth. "Millimeter, where on earth did this brat come from? How dare he talk to me like that? He's really so bold." Manager Ju almost bit his teeth off and could even taste blood in his mouth. Chu Chen returned to the office leisurely with the information and handed it to Suyun. Suyun nodded and continued working. Chu Chen didn't have to go to work this afternoon, and he had promised the gangster that he would go somewhere. Now the time was almost up, but Suyun had no intention of leaving. She sat leisurely in the chair, looking at some information. Chu Chen looked a little anxious and was too embarrassed to speak, but if he didn't speak, he would definitely be late. What's wrong? Do you have anything to do this afternoon? Suyun gently put down the information in her hand, turned to look at the anxious Chu Chen, and asked. I have to meet a friend this afternoon. I made an appointment with him yesterday. Chu Chen didn't want Suyun to know about this kind of thing, so he casually covered it up with a few words. It's time to get off work now anyway, so if you have anything to do, just do it now. With Suyun's words, Chu Chen felt relieved. Then he nodded vigorously, turned and left. Chu Chen was very fast and arrived at the agreed place in just half an hour. It was still the same coffee shop, but the guy making the coffee was replaced by a new person. There were a lot of customers in the coffee shop, and only the last seat was left, which was in the corner. When Chu Chen went over and prepared to sit down, the guy making coffee next to him shifted his eyes to Chu Chen, but only for a brief moment, then moved his eyes away. Chapter 15 Treatment. Chu Chen waited here for about 10 minutes before two vans arrived outside. The gangster was wearing normal clothes today, no different from other people who were drinking coffee. Seeing Chu Chen waiting here, the corners of the other party's mouth curled up slightly, a hint of admiration flashed in his eyes, and he slowly walked towards where Chu Chen was. I didn't think you had the guts to be here. Hearing the other party's words, Chu Chen chuckled. I promised you before that I will stay here naturally. Are the things I want ready? Of course, everything you want is ready. Come on, I'll take you to the hospital. After hearing what the other party said, Chu Chen nodded. The two of them had reached a cooperation since last night. If the other party was unwilling to believe him, he could have gotten rid of him last night. There was no need to wait until now. So Chu Chen got into their car very calmly. There was only one driver in the car. Chu Chen and the gangster sat side by side in the back. The two of them didn't do much along their way and just looked at the surrounding scenery silently. The car drove very fast, and after about half an hour, the two people successfully arrived at the hospital. This hospital is a private hospital. There are bodyguards guarding outside. The decoration inside is very luxurious. It doesn't look like a hospital but more like a magnificent hotel. It was the first time that Chu Chen saw this kind of hospital, and his eyes were full of surprise. Chu Chen followed their footsteps to the innermost room on the third floor. As soon as he entered, he smelled a strong stench, like the smell of rotting meat. The gangster obviously also smelled the odor, but his expression did not change, and he slowly came to the bedside. The old man on the hospital bed was barely breathing, and next to him was the top-quality medicine, worth a fortune. That tube of medicine was equivalent to an ordinary person's lifetime salary. Chu Chen observed the old man carefully. His lower body was rotten and he could even see bugs scurrying around inside. No one dealt with it. Chu Chen frowned and asked slowly. What do you mean by that? The gangster didn't react for a moment and didn't know what Chu Chen meant. Why don't you deal with the flesh on his legs? If you don't cut off the rotten flesh, new flesh won't grow on his legs. Besides, there are so many bugs here. Do you want his legs to become a base for bugs? Anyone who studies medicine knows that rotten meat must be disposed of in a timely manner. The room was filled with such a strong stench, which showed that the rotten meat had not been disposed of for some time. What's more, this meat can cause infection, and if you are not careful, the good meat you receive will turn into rotten meat. As soon as these words were spoken, the gangster boss's face changed drastically. He said a few words to the younger brother next to him, and the younger brother hurried over. But after a moment, a cry of pain was heard from outside, and then a man in his 30s in a white coat was dragged in. The man's ears were pulled red, his teeth were bared, and when he saw the gangster, his face turned noticeably paler. Look, I told you to look at the old man carefully, and that's what you did? What's wrong with this leg? The gangster pointed to the rotten meat next to him. The doctor didn't react at first. After he reacted, he slowly walked to the side and widened his eyes in disbelief. How is this possible? It was clearly not there when I checked this morning. How come such a large piece of it has rotted away in just this afternoon? There was shock in the doctor's voice, but the gangster didn't believe a word of it. Are you kidding me? Any normal person would know that just one lunchtime is not enough for the meat to become like this. It was obvious that it had been left for a long time. He actually dared to do such a thing right under his nose. It seems that this doctor doesn't want to live anymore. Don't you want to live anymore? The gangster raised his hand and was about to slap the doctor in the face. The slap was accompanied by a strong wind, and if it landed on the face, it would probably disfigure the doctor. Wait a minute. Chu Chen grabbed the falling slap, and the gangster boss saw this and quickly retracted his hand. What he said makes some sense. Since this hospital is controlled by you, a small doctor like him shouldn't dare to slack off under your noses. Let me take a look first. What he said was not without reason. The gangster suppressed his anger and tried to calm himself down. He glared at the doctor fiercely, and the doctor's legs couldn't help but become weak. He almost thought his face would be disfigured. Chu Chen looked the old man up and down. The old man was only hanging on to his life by the precious medicinal herbs. He looked like a living dead. Even though his lower body had become like that, the other party didn't feel anything at all. Chu Chen looked at the other person's skin carefully, and a warm current flowed from his lower abdomen into his whole body. At that moment, his eyes seemed to become more useful, and he seemed to see something passing through the old man's body vaguely. But the opponent's speed was extremely fast and disappeared in a flash. Before Chu Chen could catch it, it disappeared without a trace. Come here and take care of this area first. Most of the old man's muscles have already died, so it's rotting so quickly. Even though the skin on other parts is fine, the flesh inside is also rotting. The others gasped. Then can this old man be saved? The person who spoke was the man standing next to the gangster boss. The clothes the man wore were slightly different from those of the other gangsters. Hearing these disrespectful words, the gangster boss just glared at him without saying a word. I said there is hope. Looking at the people around him who were staring at him with eager eyes, Chu Chen silently wiped the cold sweat from his heart. With so many people staring at him, how could he dare to say that he couldn't save him? Where are the tools I need? The gangster waved his hand, and a man next to him brought the tools up respectfully. All the tools are packed in a box. When you open the box, you will find everything you need. The moment his finger touched the silver needle, it was as if someone had entered Chu Chen's body. Learning without any instruction, Chu Chen's hand was full of strength. He took a quick glance and quickly selected a silver needle. This silver needle is extremely thin, only as thin as a hair, and it seems like it will break if it is bent slightly. Chu Chen poked it down hard, and with a pop sound, the silver needle stayed next to the rotten meat. Then there was another silver needle, and there were 10 of them next to the auxiliary, forming a huge circle that surrounded the rotten meat. Others couldn't understand Chu Chen's movements, but they always felt they were amazing. Chapter 16 Dealing with Patience. Beads of sweat appeared on Chu Chen's forehead. Although this action was simple, it consumed a lot of energy. Who are you? Just after the injection, there was a sudden scream from outside, followed by a man staggering in and almost falling to the ground. The other person's eyes were full of madness, and he looked at Chu Chen in disbelief. His eyeballs were like the sun, emitting a scorching light. Chu Chen was startled by the sudden movement and almost fell on the old man. The people around him did not expect such a change to happen. The black boss had a gloomy face and said, "Where did this crazy old man come from? Hurry up and drag him away." As soon as these words were spoken, the doctor next to him also recognized the identity of the old man. Wait, this is Dr. Liu. The 3 words, Dr. Liu, are quite familiar to me. I saw him on TV some time ago. He is a very skilled doctor who just came back from abroad recently. He is proficient in both Chinese and Western medicine. It's equivalent to a national treasure. Chu Chen also recognized him, but it was difficult to identify him. After all, it was difficult to connect the old man who was full of vigor and vitality some time ago with the crazy old man in front of him. Who taught you the needle you used just now? The old man grabbed Chu Chen's arm tightly, his nails almost digging into Chu Chen's flesh. Cece felt pain from his arm. Chu Chen struggled for a few times, but the old man's hand seemed to be grown on Chu Chen's hand and refused to let go. Chu Chen sighed helplessly, "Let go of your hand first, and I'll tell you." As soon as he said this, the old man realized that his action was inappropriate. He smiled awkwardly and quickly let go of his hand. At this time, there were several blood-red marks on Chu Chen's arm, which looked very scary. This is a family tradition, Chu Chen said perfunctorily. Of course, he couldn't tell these people where this acupuncture technique came from. Senior, is there any difference in this needle method? Hearing this, the old man turned to look at the young doctor and snorted coldly. This is a long-lost acupuncture method in traditional Chinese medicine. It is called the 10 needles of the crane. It is a very powerful acupuncture method. As the name suggests, you only need to insert the needles around an acupuncture point, and keep each needle at a certain distance. The flesh within that range will be restored to life. This statement was so mysterious that it took the others a long time to react. The young doctor's eyes widened in disbelief. How is this possible? Just with these few silver needles, dead muscles can be revived. But if this is the case, then everyone can be resurrected, right? After hearing what the other party said, the doctor felt that it was an exaggeration. Such a thing could not happen, and it was against science. The old man glanced at the doctor sideways and snorted coldly. This is acupuncture passed down by our ancestors. Do you think I would fake it? But its effect is indeed not as great as you said. It can only maintain muscle activity within a certain range. Chu Chen raised his eyebrows and turned to look at the old man. What the old man said was exactly the same. He was indeed using the 10 needles. This acupuncture method was no different from ordinary acupuncture methods, but the effects were very different. Most people can't tell that this old man has some abilities. After saying this, the old man looked at Chu Chen with fanatical eyes again, wishing he could kneel down on the spot. May I ask what your name is? Are you interested in working for me? Oh no, I should learn from you. The old man was so excited that he was incoherent. The others looked at each other. No one had expected that just a few injections would make the old man go crazy to such an extent. They didn't know much about Chinese medicine, and they didn't know why the old man was so fanatical. But if it was true as the old man said, then wouldn't Chu Chen be a treasure-level figure? But why did such a treasure-level person fall into such a state of desolation? He even works in a small factory. There was a hint of suspicion in their eyes, especially the gangster boss, whose heart was in turmoil. He didn't know whether what the old man said was true or not, he just wanted to see the final result. You can deal with the rotten flesh on it. You can cut it off, but remember, don't touch the silver needles on it. Hearing Chu Chen's words, the young doctor walked over tremblingly. This was a high-end VIP ward. The environment and facilities inside were comparable to those of an operating room. There was also a mobile operating room, so it was very easy to cut out the dead flesh. But because he was too nervous, the young doctor's hands couldn't help shaking and he almost touched a silver needle. Seeing this scene, Chu Chen let out a long sigh. This guy was too nervous. If he were to continue cutting, it would probably take several hours to finish. Come on. Chu Chen pointed at the old man. Everyone present could see the crazy old man's behavior, but due to his identity, they couldn't say anything. But is it too risky to let the crazy old man handle this matter now? The black boss's face turned pale in an instant, and he walked over slowly. Find another doctor, don't let this old man do it. The others trusted the old man very much, but the gangster boss was an exception. After all, the old man on the hospital bed was the backbone of the entire underworld, and he could not have any mistakes. If we are not careful, the underworld will fall apart. Seeing that the gangster was so stubborn, Chu Chen sighed helplessly. After all, the person lying on the hospital bed was his own. Since the other party wanted to find a doctor, then he naturally had no reason to say anything. Chu Chen was waiting here. After about 10 minutes, a doctor was brought in hurriedly. There was blood on the doctor's hands, and it seemed that he was dragged here just after finishing an operation. The doctor was confused and didn't know what to do. Chu Chen coughed slightly and said to the doctor, "Please deal with the rotten flesh on top and don't touch the silver needle next to it." This doctor was much more mentally competent than the last one. Seeing the people in suits around him, he didn't say anything, but nodded when he heard Chu Chen's words. All the necessary tools were available at the side, and the doctor's hands and feet were very skillful. In just a few moments, the dead flesh and worms in the wound were removed one by one. Chu Chen was also watching from the side. The doctor's methods were very aggressive. When he was removing the rotten flesh, he didn't even leave any good flesh behind. This technique is rare. Chu Chen raised his eyebrows, and a hint of approval flashed in his eyes. He is worthy of being dragged here by the gangster boss himself. He is really amazing. I've already dealt with it. The doctor wiped the cold sweat from his forehead and turned to Chu Chen. Chu Chen nodded. He could even see the living flesh inside beating slightly. The amplitude of the beating was very small, but for some reason, after concentrating his attention, he could always see it very clearly. Chapter 17 Request. These fleshes are growing, and their growth rate is not particularly slow. Chu Chen felt relieved. The flesh in other parts was also rotting, but because of Chu Chen's acupuncture skills, the rate of decay became much slower. The black boss raised his eyebrows, turned his head to look at the crazy old man next to him, then looked at Chu Chen, who was indifferent in front of him. His expression was complicated. He didn't expect that a weakling like Chu Chen could have such powerful skills. But if the other party had such powerful skills, why would he be working in the factory? The gangster boss was puzzled. Their heartbeat has returned. The young nurse next to her screamed, and everyone looked over at once. The electrocardiogram, which was originally close to the horizontal line, suddenly jumped, and the amplitude of the jump became smaller and larger, and then tended to be stable. How is this possible? The gangster boss stood up suddenly and looked at the electrocardiogram in disbelief. His heartbeat was very weak just now, but after a few injections, his heartbeat became normal like that of a normal person. What's going on? The old man clapped his hands vigorously and laughed. I knew it, I knew it. What are you still standing there for? Go up and check it out. The gangster turned his head and glanced at the doctor. The doctor nodded hurriedly and went forward to check the old man's condition. The doctor carefully placed his hand on the old man's pulse, and the originally disordered pulse became normal. The doctor didn't believe it and took the test several more times. Without exception, the pulse was normal. This is impossible. How is this possible? If the pulse was weak, it would be fine, but this pulse is so strong that it doesn't sound like that of an old man, but more like that of a young and middle-aged man. The black boss frowned. What's wrong? Speak. The old man has recovered and will be discharged from the hospital once his flesh grows back. 1 second you may not have much time left, the next second you may be discharged from the hospital. The gangster had a complicated expression, trying hard to calm his excitement. He turned to look at Chu Chen and said, Okay, you really have some skills. Today, I owe you a favor. The previous debt is my reward to you. I don't want a cent. Those people will not bother you again in the future. Chu Chen wiped the sweat from his forehead and chuckled. Thank you very much, boss. As soon as he finished speaking, the phone in Chu Chen's pocket vibrated. He frowned slightly and took out the phone from his pocket. It was a call from his sister-in-law. Chu Chen looked at the black boss and said softly, Sorry, I have to go out and answer the phone. The gangster nodded, and the others made way for him. Chu Chen walked to the corner outside with his cell phone in hand and answered the call. Hey, sister-in-law, what's wrong? Xiao Chen, if you are at home now, can you help sister-in-law take the things on the table to the hospital? I left in a hurry this morning and forgot to bring a few documents. Of course, sister-in-law, please wait in the hospital first, I'll be there soon. After saying that, Chu Chen hung up the phone. Chu Chen returned to the ward. The other people were still standing in the ward, staring at the old man intently. The old man couldn't hide his excitement. When he saw Chu Chen coming in, he quickly came over and said, Little doctor, can you give me your contact information? I would like to ask you for advice next time I have a chance. The old man was an expert personally invited by the hospital, but now he used a respectful title to address a young boy, and others couldn't help but gasp. Chu Chen was confused and was about to refuse, but when he turned around, he saw the old man's sparkling eyes. In the end, he couldn't bear to refuse and sighed helplessly, Okay, then I'll add your WeChat. The old man nodded vigorously, as happy as a child who got candy. The black boss patted Chu Chen's shoulder vigorously, with a touch of admiration in his eyes. Are you interested in working here? This hospital is still short of a director. Facing the olive branch suddenly thrown by the gangster boss, Chu Chen's expression remained unchanged. Being appreciated by the gangster boss was something that these younger brothers dreamed of. Moreover, this was a private hospital, and the position of director, not including bonuses, would earn tens of thousands of yuan a month. Chu Chen was not moved at all. Thank you for your kindness, but I'm sorry, I think my current job is pretty good, and I don't plan to change jobs for the time being. Seeing the determination in Chu Chen's eyes, The black boss sighed helplessly and compromised. Okay, this place is a bit remote. If you want to go home, I'll find someone to take you back. Chu Chen nodded. He had just rejected the gangster's kindness. It would be impolite to refuse such a small thing again. Then I'll trouble you. The gangster boss sent someone to drive Chu Chen home. Chu Chen entered the house and saw a small bag on the table. The bag contained various documents that his sister-in-law needed. It seems that this is what my sister-in-law wants. Chu Chen hurriedly packed his things, went out to get a taxi, and rushed to the hospital. The weather outside is not very good, with dark clouds covering the sky. It will rain soon. Pedestrians on the road are hurrying and drivers are also slowing down. Time passed little by little, and after about 20 minutes, Chu Chen's phone rang again. Chu Chen took out his cell phone and saw that the name on it was still Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen, have you brought the things? Her tone sounded a little anxious, and there were some chaotic sounds nearby, as if someone was queuing up. There's still half an hour to go. Chu Chen hung up the phone and urged, "Driver, it's urgent, please drive faster." In the hospital, Xiao sat on the chair, looked at the doctors who were moving around in front of her, and lowered her head in embarrassment. These people have been surrounding her for more than half an hour, all waiting for her ID. Xiao's hand holding the phone had red marks on it. The patients coming and going also noticed this scene and looked at Xiao curiously. "Didn't I ask you to transfer her to another ward? What are you still doing here?" The dean came out of the office at some point and asked unhappily when he saw a group of people gathered here. "Director, she didn't bring all her documents, so we can't transfer her to another ward." "It's okay. I remember there's an empty room upstairs. Just transfer her to that ward. No ID is needed. I'll be responsible if anything happens." "But." "No buts. Am I the director of this hospital, or are you the director of this hospital?" The nurse was about to speak, but the dean interrupted her with a few words. "I see." The nurse left in a hurry. The dean came to Xiao, and the serious expression on his face completely disappeared, replaced by a friendly smile. "Hello, let me introduce myself. I am the director of this hospital. If you feel unwell, you can tell me directly." Chapter 18 Suits. Xiao had never seen such a big scene before. She just sat there in a daze, not reacting at all. She was just a poor commoner, how could she have ever enjoyed such treatment? As the two were talking, Chu Chen hurried over with several documents in his hand. "Sister-in-law, this is the certificate you asked for." Chu Chen was sweating profusely and looked like he had been running all the way here. Xiao's eyes flashed with heartache. "Thank you for your hard work, sit down and take a rest." Chu Chen nodded vigorously and sat down next to Xiao. The dean's eyes lit up. "You are Chu Chen, right?" Chu Chen looked at the dean with a strange expression. "Didn't we meet in the ward before? How come you didn't recognize me after a few days?" The smile on the dean's face froze. "The previous incident was a misunderstanding. Don't worry, we will never tolerate that kind of doctor. I have already fired him." Chu Chen sneered and said nothing. "Why are you looking for my sister-in-law? I remember she has been discharged from the hospital, right? Although you have been discharged from the hospital, you still need care as you have just recovered from your illness. We have upgraded your care to advanced care and provided you with a corresponding nurse. As for what happened before, we are very sorry. This is your compensation. There is 500,000 yuan in the card, and there is no password. Please forgive our hospital's mistake." Chu Chen looked at the dean with a complicated expression. The arrogant face yesterday suddenly became kind today, and he changed his attitude faster than turning the pages of a book. "What on earth do you want to do?" "Giving myself so many things, it is definitely not as simple as just compensation." The dean smiled bitterly and said, "We would like to invite you to attend the doctors' conference in a week. The doctors' conference co-organized by Jiangcheng Hospital concerns the future of the hospital. If we can win this medical conference, it will bring fame to the hospital, many people will come here to visit, and the government will pay more attention to this hospital. The dean is determined to win the championship of this medical conference." Chu Chen chuckled. "I see. Anyway, there's still a week left. I'll think about this matter and get back to you within 2 days." Chu Chen's eyes were full of confidence. The dean had a fake smile on his face. He kept cursing Chu Chen in his heart, but there was still a smile on his face. After all, Chu Chen's previous abilities were obvious to everyone, even old he praised him. If Chu Chen could be allowed to compete on behalf of his hospital, then the championship would be easy to win. Sister-in-law, just stay here. We have the most advanced care here. Wait until you are fully recovered before coming out. But Xiao was about to say something, but Chu Chen chuckled and shook his head. The dean had something to ask of him, so he didn't dare to do anything to Xiao. Moreover, it was because of this reason that Xiao could receive the best care. It would be a waste if you don't pick up such a good deal. The other side. Suyun, dressed in a black business suit, sat at her desk, frowning as she looked at the documents on the table. What does this mean? The final payment has been overdue for a week. How did you push for it? Boss, this is not our fault. We have gone there several times this week, but they either refused to see us or made various excuses. They just didn't want to pay us back, and there was nothing we could do. Xiao Li frowned, with dark circles under his eyes. He hadn't had a good night's sleep for several days, and he was always dreaming about debt collection. Suyun let out a long sigh, her slightly curly hair falling in front of her chest, and her beautiful eyebrows slightly raised. Okay, I'll take care of this matter, you go back and have a good rest. Xiao Li nodded dazedly and walked out slowly. As soon as Chu Chen returned to the office, he saw Xiao Li walking out with a tired look on his face. When he saw Chu Chen coming, he didn't even say hello and staggered away. What happened to Xiao Li? Chu Chen had met Xiao Li several times and had a good impression of this young man, so he asked curiously. Nothing, probably because he stayed up too late. I told him to go back and have a good rest. You don't have to watch the place this afternoon. Come with me to do something. Suyun said calmly with a serious expression. Hearing the other party's words, Chu Chen nodded. Suyun looked Chu Chen up and down, frowning. Go, change your clothes, you look so shabby. Chu Chen was wearing casual clothes, a shirt bought at a street stall for 12 yuan. It had been washed so much that it turned white, and looked a bit shabby. Good. Chu Chen followed Suyun and walked towards the parking lot. Suyun raised her eyebrows. Here's the address. There's a navigation system in the car. You drive. Suyun sat in the passenger seat, and Chu Chen silently took the keys and sat in the driver's seat. Suyun leaned on the passenger seat, and the two of them were very close. I don't know what perfume Suyun sprayed, but the fragrance kept drilling into Chu Chen's nose, and the hair hanging down from her shoulders floated towards Chu Chen vaguely. Chu Chen felt an itchy feeling near his ears, his cheeks turned slightly red, and his body felt inexplicably hot. He tried hard to suppress the excitement in his heart and drove silently according to the navigation. Chu Chen drove very fast and the address was not far from here. After about half an hour, they successfully arrived at the destination. It was a very ordinary shop, decorated extremely delicately in a Nordic style, and extremely luxurious inside. Suyun smiled, and the moment Chu Chen got out of the car, she naturally took his arm. Chu Chen's body stiffened for a moment, then returned to normal, but the blush on his face still did not disappear. Hey, what a rare visitor, how did you get here? I heard you were in the store, so I came to see you and to customize a suit for my friend. I remember you have a newly made suit here. Would you mind taking it out and showing it to me? Humph, I knew you had bad intentions. I wouldn't have said it in the group. You're being targeted so soon. The person who spoke was a petite woman wearing a brown coat and a pair of gold-rimmed glasses. Her deep eyes gave off a mixed-race look. But why haven't I seen this friend of yours? We just met not long ago, so of course you haven't seen it before. Hurry up and take out that suit and let me see it. No need to look, come here, I'll measure your body size. Suyun pushed Chu Chen, and Chu Chen nodded blankly and followed the woman in. The small room for measuring size is extremely small. There is a table on the left. The woman is holding a tape measure in her hand. The two people are very close to each other, so close that Chu Chen can catch a glimpse of the spring scenery on the woman's chest when he lowers his head. The woman's breath poured into Chu Chen's neck. Chu Chen dared not move, and let the woman's hands grope his body. His whole body was stiff. The woman felt the stiffness of her hands and sneered, she's still innocent. Chapter 19 What did you do to him? After saying that, the woman patted Chu Chen's waist gently and said with a smile, after measuring, go out. Chu Chen walked out from the inner room with a red face. Suyun looked at Chu Chen with displeasure in her eyes. What did you do to him? What else can I do? It's just measuring the size. Why? Suyun swallowed the strange feeling in her heart and remained silent. It will take about half an hour to fix it. If you are willing to wait, just sit here. If not, then follow the old rules. I will find someone to deliver it to your door. No need, just wait here. There was only a small sofa in the store. Chu Chen and Suyun sat next to each other, so close that they could almost feel each other's breath. Suyun's earlobes hidden under her hair were red and her body was extremely hot. The room was not very warm, and she felt like she was leaning against a stove, with her body temperature continuing to rise. Chu Chen leaned back, and as he moved, the skin of the two people pressed together kept rubbing against each other, as if it was on fire, and that small piece of skin was extremely hot. Or, I'd better stand for a while. Chu Chen stood up in a hurry. In his haste, his hand accidentally touched Suyun's exposed shoulder. The feeling of their skin touching each other was like a half-click, and Chu Chen quickly retracted his hand. Suyun groaned, lowered her head with a red face, and cursed herself in her heart. Damn it, what's wrong with me? I'm so sensitive just by being touched. This is not like me. Chu Chen also pretended nothing happened. He stood straight beside the sofa, his fingers hidden under his sleeves rubbing unconsciously, as if he was savoring the fragrant and soft skin. Half an hour later, the woman came out carrying a brand new suit. Give. Thank you. The two of them had a very good relationship. Even though they had spoken rudely just now, Chu Chen could still feel the bond between them. Let's go, stop looking, we still have things to do. Suyun walked out first, and Chu Chen hurriedly followed Suyun. The car did not start immediately. Suyun was silent for a moment, hesitant to speak. She turned her head to look at Chu Chen, as if she was struggling whether to ask this question. After struggling for a long time, I couldn't utter a single word. Aren't we going to get down to business? Chu Chen asked cautiously. You seem to like that woman just now. Suyun's voice was very soft, as thin as a mosquito's. But in the silent car, Chu Chen still heard what the other party said. Chu Chen's face flashed a strange look, and his voice became much softer. No, I'm just curious about the relationship between him and you, and I've been here many times before, and I've never seen this custom-made clothing place. So that's how it is. Suyun felt relieved. Suyun started the car, and the car drove away, soon turning into a small road. At the end of the path is a factory, which is surrounded by weeds and does not look like a good place. As the car got closer, two groups of people outside the factory came into view. One group was holding sticks, and the other group was wearing suits. Neither group would submit to the other and the situation was tense. Boss, you are here. Seeing Suyun getting out of the car, the man in the suit nodded to Suyun and greeted her. What's going on? Didn't I ask you to talk it out? Why did it turn out like this? We tried to talk nicely according to your instructions, but these guys didn't listen at all. Not only that, they even wanted to take action. Are you the leader of this group of guys? I didn't expect it to be a woman. The leading man looked Suyun up and down, with lustful intent in his eyes that seemed to be overflowing. The others wiped their mouths. They hadn't seen such beautiful stuff for a long time, and their eyes were full of greed. The green bean-sized eyes looked Suyun up and down as if he was looking at some rare item. This look made Suyun frown, and a hint of displeasure flashed in his eyes. Let your boss come out. You think we can get our boss to come out? Why don't you let your brother play with you first? The man walked forward with a grim smile and stretched out his hand to pull Suyun's clothes. Suyun was shocked and quickly took a few steps back. Obscene. What are you guys still standing there for? You're such a beautiful lady. When we get tired of playing with her, we'll let you guys have some fun. As soon as these words were spoken, the man with the stick in his hand rushed over quickly. The bodyguard in a suit quickly protected Suyun behind him, while the other few people fought with the man who rushed over. Suyun brought few people, while the other side not only had more people but also had various weapons in their hands. Seeing that the bodyguards were at a disadvantage, the leading man winked at the bald man next to him. The bald man chuckled and rushed towards where Suyun was. Their target was this beautiful woman, so they naturally couldn't miss such a good opportunity. Before the bald man's dirty hands reached Suyun, Suyun screamed and a strong arm grasped the dirty hands tightly. The bald man struggled hard, but his arm did not move at all. Chu Chen sneered and exerted force in his hands. The arm he was holding in his palm creaked and the bones were almost crushed. The bold man screamed and the severe pain made him kneel on the ground. He struggled frantically, but his arm was still tightly grasped by Chu Chen. The bones of his arm were broken, and Chu Chen finally let go of the bold man. He turned to look at Suyun and asked with concern, "How are you? Are you okay?" Suyun looked at Chu Chen blankly and shook her head slightly. The others also heard the bold man scream and quickly turned their heads. They saw the bold man who was so high-spirited before now lying at Chu Chen's feet, his body curled up like a dying dog. Bold. The man was shocked and furious. "What did you do to him?" Chu Chen chuckled. "I just taught him what to do and what not to do. MD, brothers, go ahead and kill this bastard." "Stop, I've called the police. If you don't want to go to jail, just listen to me." Suyun walked out holding a cell phone with a police page on it. "Call the police. Bosu must have forgotten what I do." A familiar voice suddenly sounded from next door, and Chu Chen's eyes widened in surprise. I saw a tall man walking towards me slowly, with a scar on his face that was extremely conspicuous. Standing in front of them was the gangster boss. The gangster also saw Chu Chen, and a hint of surprise flashed in his eyes. "Why are you here?" As soon as the words fell, everyone looked at Chu Chen in unison, and a hint of confusion flashed in Suyun's eyes. "You know him?" Chu Chen coughed slightly and said, "I've met him before and had a few conversations with him. This is my boss, she and I are here to take care of some work." "So she is your boss? You should have said so earlier." The gangster's expression softened and he waved to the people next to him. Chapter 20, The Sarcastic Neighbor. The younger brothers on the side looked embarrassed, especially the man in charge, who glanced at Chu Chen angrily and his throat tightened. "I thought he was an easy guy to bully, but I didn't expect to hit a hard wall. It turns out that this guy is related to the boss." Chu Chen looked at the leading younger brother with a half smile, and said lightly, "If nothing else, your younger brother is really amazing. He gave me a big gift as soon as I came here." His voice reached the ears of the leading younger brother. The younger brother was stunned, his smile froze on his face, and he looked at his elder brother cautiously, saying with a flattering smile, "Brother, I know he is your friend. If I knew, I would naturally treat him well." The gangster boss looked straight at the younger brother who was leading the group. Under his majestic gaze, the younger brother's voice became smaller and smaller. Later, one could only see his mouth moving, but no sound could be heard. Suyun glanced at Chu Chen with a complicated expression. She had heard rumors about the gangster boss before. As the head of the underworld, he was very capable. She didn't expect that he was actually related to the gangster boss. Before coming here, she had already prepared herself not to go back, but she never thought. Suyun let out a long sigh. The black boss retracted his gaze and curled his lips slightly. "My people are wrong in this matter. I will teach them a lesson. Since you are here, why not have a cup of tea first?" A little Suyun was not worthy of being invited personally, but Chu Chen was different. The gangster's eyes were sharp. Since this was the person he wanted to win over, why wouldn't it hurt to give him some face? Chu Chen saw through the gangster's intention. Now that things had come to this point, it would not be good to make things too ugly. He cleared his throat and asked Suyun, "Boss, aren't we here to discuss cooperation? Since they have invited us so kindly, why don't we go in and sit down and talk it over?" This was a way for the black boss to step aside, and the attitudes of the younger brothers around him were obviously much more relaxed. Suyun was able to sit in a high position, so she naturally understood what Chu Chen meant, and nodded gently, "Then go in. The factory looks shabby from the outside, but it is surprisingly clean inside. There are 2 sofas in the middle, separated by a table." Suyun and Chu Chen sat on the right, the gangster sat on the left, and the younger brothers on both sides stood behind them, looking at each other. The 2 groups of people who were originally confronting each other never thought that there would be a day when they would sit down and have a good talk. They lowered their eyes and dared not look at the person opposite them. Suyun took out a contract from her bag and put it on the table. "This is the contract we signed before. The date is clearly written on it. I think it's time to pay the final payment." The gangster looked at the price and chuckled, "That's easy. After all, Boss Su is here in person, so I'll have to pay him this little money. I'll have someone transfer the money to the contract account, so don't worry, Boss Su." With the gangster's words, Suyun felt relieved. This matter concerned the wages of everyone in the factory. If it wasn't done, no one in the factory would be happy. The black boss turned to look at Chu Chen. Brother Chu, what do you think about what I said last time? The intimate name surprised everyone present. Suyun looked at Chu Chen with a complicated expression. If they were not close brothers, they would never use such a name. When did Chu Chen become involved with the gangster boss? The others were also surprised. They had never seen their eldest brother call someone with such an intimate name. It was obvious that the eldest brother valued Chu Chen. Chu Chen still had a faint smile on his face, and said calmly, I thought about what you said. After all, I am still working under Boss Su, and Boss Su treats me very well. But don't worry, if there is anything, just come to me, I will definitely go through fire and water and do everything I can to help you. After these words were spoken, even though the black boss was disappointed, he did not show any dissatisfaction. He stood up with a big laugh and patted Chu Chen on the shoulder. Okay, you are worthy of being someone I value. You are indeed loyal and righteous. Then I won't make it difficult for you. If you change your mind in the future, just tell me. As your big brother, I will definitely make arrangements for you. Things went more smoothly than expected. On their way back, Suyun let out a long sigh, and the sadness between his brows completely disappeared. Suyun hesitated for a moment and asked, when did you two meet? Chu Chen, who was sitting in the passenger seat and looking at his phone, was stunned. He turned to look at Suyun and said, we just met not long ago. Suyun had a conflicted look on her face. She wanted to ask something, but her throat moved and she ultimately did not ask the question. It was already 10 o'clock in the evening when Suyun sent Chu Chen home. There were only a few faint lights in the remote building. Chu Chen turned his head to look at Suyun. The car window was rolled down and the dark glass blocked his view. Chu Chen waved his hand gently, and Suyun drove away, leaving only a trail of exhaust fumes on the ground. Chu Chen had only taken 2 steps when he heard the sound of a door opening from next door. The sound was not loud, and a girl of about 16 or 17 years old wearing glasses walked out. Chu Chen took a step back and let the girl go downstairs first. The stairs in the old neighborhood are very narrow, and it is a bit crowded for 2 people to pass through. The girl also saw Chu Chen. Her hands froze for a moment and her eyes suddenly became strange. She walked down while glancing at Chu Chen as if she saw something rare. Chu Chen felt creepy by the look in the girl's eyes, and the creepy feeling disappeared only when the girl's figure disappeared at the end. Chu Chen frowned and couldn't stop muttering in his heart. I have met this girl several times before. She is a very polite girl and always has a sweet smile when she greets me. Chu Chen was doubtful and took out his cell phone. He flipped the camera and looked at himself carefully. He was dressed neatly and his hair was well groomed. He looked no different from usual. What was that look just now? Hey, isn't this Xiao Chu? Why are you back so late? Where have you been fooling around again? A slightly sharp voice came from upstairs, and a woman in her 30s or 40s came down carrying a basket of vegetables. Chu Chen frowned, looking unhappy. Aunt Liu, what do you mean? What do you mean by fooling around? Aunt Liu rolled her eyes. Don't think I don't know. You cheated a little girl out of her money. You are so shameless. You are an adult with hands and feet, but you chose to do such a wicked thing. Aunt Liu, what you said is wrong. What do you mean by cheating a little girl of her money? Our Xiao Chen has always been honest. How could he do such a thing? Xiaojie walked down the road at some point and looked at Aunt Liu with a gloomy face. Aunt Liu rolled her eyes and said, don't bother explaining. Let alone him, we all know about the dirty things you did. I thought you were a good woman, but I didn't expect you to do that behind your husband's back. I wasted a lot of money. Aunt Liu, who used to greet people with a smile when they met, became so sarcastic. Chu Chen's throat choked and he remained silent for a moment. Chapter 21, Ex-Girlfriend Comes to Visit. Xiaojie's face turned pale and she pointed at Aunt Liu with trembling fingers, unable to speak for a long time. Chu Chen frowned, walked forward to support Xiaojie, turned to Aunt Liu and said, Aunt Liu, don't spread this kind of hearsay. You are old and it will damage your virtue. Aunt Liu was so aggressive, there was no need for Chu Chen to think about the old relationship, and his words were merciless. Aunt Liu's cheeks turned red with anger. She looked at Chu Chen viciously, snorted coldly, and went home with the basket. Chu Chen and Xiaojie were the only ones left in the corridor. Chu Chen carefully helped Xiaojie back into their house. There was a sumptuous meal on the table. Half of the rice was steaming. Probably when she was serving the rice, she heard the noise coming from downstairs and hurried out. It was fine yesterday, why did it become like this today? Chu Chen frowned, looking puzzled. Xiaojie sighed and looked at Chu Chen with a complicated expression, wanting to say something but stopping herself. Her lips moved a few times and finally turned into a sigh. Chu Chen walked in front of Xiaojie and looked into her eyes steadily. Sister-in-law, tell me, has anyone been here today? Xiaojie avoided the gaze, lowered her eyes, and said nothing. Even if Xiaojie didn't say it, Chu Chen could guess roughly based on what Aunt Liu said today. Chu Chen's face was stern. I know, she's here, right? Sister-in-law, don't worry, leave this matter to me, I won't let them harass us again. Chu Chen was about to leave when Xiaojie grabbed his arm and said, No, Xiao Chen, don't go. She brought a few people with her. You will only be bullied by them if you go. Looking at his sister-in-law begging desperately, Chu Chen suppressed his anger, turned around and helped his sister-in-law up. Sister-in-law, don't worry. I promise you I won't go over there yet. After hesitating for a while, Chu Chen said another sentence. After hearing the other party's words, Xiaojie felt relieved. Then hurry up and eat, otherwise the food will get cold. The two of them sat back at the table. The aroma of the food was still wafting in the air. Faced with such a sumptuous meal, Chu Chen felt like chewing wax and just ate it reluctantly. Xiaojie didn't eat much and went back to her room after finishing her meal. Chu Chen's eyes were sharp. At this moment, there was a sudden knock on the door. The sound was very loud and there was no room for rejection. At first they just knocked on the door, but later they started kicking it. The noise became louder and louder, and the door began to shake constantly, as if it would be kicked open at any second. Chu Chen frowned, and Xiaojie also walked out of the room with confusion in her eyes. Chu Chen gently opened the door, and a woman in a red dress walked in arrogantly, followed by 3 or 4 men. Hey, isn't this Chu Chen? How come he suddenly looks like a decent person after not seeing him for a few days? The woman looked Chu Chen up and down and sneered. Li Chen, what are you doing here? Chu Chen frowned. He was just discussing this matter, but he didn't expect the other party to come to him so soon. Li Chen casually found a chair and sat down, looking at Chu Chen with contempt. Why, after all, we are in love, so why don't you welcome me? Chu Chen sneered. What on earth do you want to do? Li Chen took out a bill and put it on the table. I came here today mainly to settle accounts with you. When we were in love, I bought you a lot of things. Now that our relationship is over, you have to return those things. Chu Chen widened his eyes and looked at Li Chen in disbelief, as if he didn't expect such words to come out of her mouth. After hesitating for a moment, Chu Chen picked up the bill on the table and looked through it carefully. The details on the bill were written very clearly, even where he drank a sip of milk tea was clearly written. Even if it's just a sip of milk tea, it will cost a few dollars. As he flipped through the pages, Chu Chen became more and more angry. After finishing the last page, he couldn't help but laugh out loud. Chu Chen laughed in anger and looked at Li Chen coldly. You really calculated it clearly. You even included a mouthful of milk tea in the calculation. Since you want to calculate it this way, I will also settle the account with you. Chu Chen slowly took out his phone. During our relationship, I gave you a lot of bags, all of which were brand name bags, but you didn't give me a penny in return. When the topic came to this, Li Qian's eyes dodged and she snorted coldly. Are you still a man? Isn't it just a few bags? Just consider it as compensation to me. Xiaojie's eyes widened. She never thought that a girl could say such shamelessly. Li Qian looked Chu Chen up and down. I tell you, you must give me the money today, otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. Li Qian came prepared today, with 3 thugs following her, as if she was sure that Chu Chen wouldn't dare to do anything to her. Stop talking nonsense, kid. Give the money to my sister. A yellow-haired boy behind him couldn't help but speak, looking down at Chu Chen, as if Chu Chen was a liar and trash. You still have a chance. If you don't hurry up and give the money to my sister, don't blame us for being rude. The other man frowned and said impatiently. The 2 men sang in unison, and a threatening feeling came over him. Oh! I want to see who dares to touch them. Before Chu Chen could say anything, a familiar voice came from outside the door. Chu Chen looked outside the door in surprise, and a burly man walked in with several people behind him. The gangster raised his eyebrows, and Rueli's eyes shot to the two people behind Li Qian. The yellow-haired man stared at the black boss in disbelief, and dropped the cigarette in his mouth in disgust. Boss, boss. Why are you here? The black boss snorted. I came to meet my friend. What, do you have any objection? Huang Mao smiled awkwardly. Of course I have no objection, but the boss's friend, it can't be him, right? The yellow-haired man looked at the black boss, then at Chu Chen, feeling surprised and suspicious. The black boss didn't say anything, but just looked at the yellow-haired man silently. Those majestic eyes made Huang Mao feel creepy and his back felt cold. Huang Mao's throat was shaking violently, cold sweat was pouring down his face, and he couldn't help but take a few steps back. Boss, you are. The yellow-haired man was interrupted by the black boss before he could finish his words. Ayong, you know the rules, go and take care of it. The burly man standing behind the black boss nodded and walked towards the yellow-haired man step by step. The yellow-haired man showed fear on his face and backed away little by little. Boss, I was wrong. I will never dare to do it again, please let me go. The sudden action shocked everyone. Li Qian took a few steps back, her face pale. The gangster had a cigarette in his mouth and took a deep puff. In the curling smoke, his sharp eyes approached Li Qian. Chapter 22. The matter was perfectly resolved. Li Qian was so frightened that she trembled and her face turned pale like a ghost. I remember you, Huang Mao's little girlfriend. Your father owes a lot of gambling debts, right? He hasn't paid it back yet. Why, doesn't your father want his daughter to pay it back? After these words were spoken, Li Qian looked at the gangster in disbelief. Her lips moved for a while, but she didn't say a word. Chu Chen looked at Li Qian and understood. No wonder she was so anxious to ask him for money. It turned out that she wanted to pay off her father's gambling debts. The gangster boss never touched women. He just gave a hint and turned his head back to Chu Chen. The seriousness on his face disappeared and a smile appeared on his face again. The yellow-haired guy on the other side was beaten by Ayong and screamed loudly. His screams resounded through the sky and even attracted many people outside. The sound insulation here was not very good. In just half an hour, the door outside was smashed with bangs. The other person standing behind the black boss was closer to the door and opened it. The man downstairs was about to come in, cursing, "Why aren't you sleeping so late at night? What are you doing? Do you want to die?" Halfway through his words, his eyes met the burly man. The male neighbor's throat tightened and he couldn't say the rest of the sentence no matter how hard he tried. He stood there in a daze, like a stone sculpture. The black boss turned his head and glanced at the man. I'm sorry, we are dealing with something and will be done soon. I hope you can be patient. This sounded like an explanation, but the threat in the words made the man break out in a cold sweat. The man nodded awkwardly and ran away quickly. Chu Chen coughed lightly. I wonder what brings you here, brother. The black boss casually pulled a chair and sat down. I mainly want to ask you to do me a favor. Chu Chen sat opposite the black boss and turned to look at his sister-in-law. His sister-in-law immediately understood and went back to their house. Chu Chen then spoke. What is the favor? The gangster boss said to Ayong, drag them out. At the command, Ayong picked up these people, like chickens, threw them out of the door, and closed the door. Only the people brought by the black boss and Chu Chen were left in the room. At this time, the black boss spoke. I have a friend who was fined some time ago. When I went to see him today, I found that his body was stiff and he couldn't take care of himself. I would like to ask you to help him. The last time he treated the old man, the black boss had already seen that Chu Chen was extremely talented and a genius in the use of medicine. Moreover, there should be only a few people in the world who could be called a miracle doctor by the old man. If Chu Chen takes action, this disease will definitely be solved. So that's how it is. Chu Chen sighed and said, since it's Big Brother who asked, I will definitely help. I wonder where your friend is now. The gangster took a deep puff of his cigarette, his eyes showing a sense of vicissitudes in the smoke. He is still at home now, but it's too late today. Are you free tomorrow? I'll ask someone to pick you up. Chu Chen looked at the date. The next day was Saturday, and he had 2 days off on the weekend, so he didn't need to go to work. There was indeed nothing to do on Saturday, so Chu Chen nodded gently. Then it's a deal, I'll wait for you at home. Well, if there's nothing else, I'll leave first. You guys have a good rest. The gangster boss stood up, straightened his clothes, and left with the rest of the people. Chu Chen hurried to the door to see the gangster off. There was a black car parked downstairs with several men standing next to it. When Chu Chen was about to go upstairs after sending the gangster away, Aunt Liu hurried over. Her attitude changed 180 degrees and she asked with a smile, "Xiao Chu, is this your friend?" Chu Chen looked at Aunt Liu with a strange expression. Aunt Liu had just ridiculed them not long ago, so how come she has now returned to her original Hershey-like appearance? Chu Chen nodded slightly, not wanting to pay attention to Aunt Liu, and walked upstairs quickly. Aunt Liu followed Chu Chen and refused to give in, looking a little embarrassed. "Xiao Chu, I was wrong before. I believed that woman's slander and thought you were that kind of person. Now I know the truth. I'm really sorry." Aunt Liu's mumblings came from behind him, but Chu Chen pretended not to hear them. They had been neighbors for many years, and to hear her say such things was already disheartening. There was no point in explaining any more now. Aunt Liu wanted to follow him, but Chu Chen slammed the door, almost hitting Aunt Liu's nose. Aunt Liu touched her nose in disappointment and had to turn around and go home. Chu Chen walked into the room. Xiaojie had already walked out of the bedroom with a glass of water in her hand. "Xiao Chen, was that person just now your friend?" There was a hint of worry in Xiaojie's tone. The gangster boss just now really scared her, especially when he was beating the yellow-haired guy. He looked like a gangster. Chu Chen walked up to his sister-in-law and comforted her softly. "He is a friend of mine. He is a bodyguard. The people behind him are his friends." "What's wrong, sister-in-law?" Hearing this, Xiaojie felt relieved. So that's how it is. She finally put her mind at ease. Xiaojie's expression eased. "I'm just worried that you have made some bad friends. If they are bodyguard friends, then it's okay." Chu Chen chuckled and said, "Sister-in-law, don't worry. I'm already old enough to know who I should make friends with and who I shouldn't. It's getting late, so you should have a good rest first." Xiaojie nodded and turned back to the bedroom. Chu Chen was the only one left in the living room. Chu Chen stared at his vibrating phone in silence. The owner's group was filled with apology messages, saying things like "I believe the rumors" and all sorts of other things. Chu Chen just took a look and turned off his phone. It goes without saying who did this. Chu Chen doesn't know what method the gangster used, but the effect is very good. Without the harassment from neighbors, life is finally much quieter. Chu Chen sighed, tidied up the table, and turned back to his bedroom. At 9 o'clock the next morning, there was a beeping sound outside, and the car sent by the gangster boss arrived as expected. There was a knock on the door. Chu Chen put on his coat, tidied himself up a little, and opened the door. Standing outside was a boy of about 17 or 18 years old. He had a baby face and looked extremely cute when he smiled, like a high school student. The boy smiled and said, "Hello, I'm the one that big brother asked to come pick you up. You can just call me Xiao Chen." Chu Chen nodded. "It's getting late, let's go." Xiaojie was still sleeping. Chu Chen left a note on the table, gently closed the door, and left with Xiao Chen. Along the way, the two people didn't say anything, and the car was eerily silent. Chapter 23 Questioning. With Chu Chen's gesture, the baby-faced man next to him, although angry in his heart, could only stand there. After all, he was sent by the gangster boss to find Chu Chen, so naturally he had to listen to what Chu Chen said. The two of them were waiting in the living room. The middle-aged man next to them didn't say anything and continued to introduce the antiques here to the old man next to him, completely leaving the two of them aside. It was the butler who came over with a glass of water, gently placed it in front of the two people, and said with an apologetic smile, "I'm so sorry, the young master is just like that, don't mind it." That being said, the other party's attitude did not change at all. The baby-faced man whispered to Chu Chen, "This is the richest businessman in Beijing, the leader of the real estate industry, who eats both black and white. People like him always have some quirks and disdain to talk to us. You need to get used to it." Chu Chen nodded gently. It turned out that he was the richest businessman in Beijing. No wonder his house was full of antiques. He sighed softly in his heart and said nothing more. Chu Chen and Wawar waited here for about 10 minutes before the people upstairs finally came down. The gangster boss came down with a man. The two men were chatting happily, chattering about something as they walked down. The man also noticed the old man next to him, and a hint of surprise flashed in his eyes. "Is this the master you introduced?" Hearing the other party's words, The black boss chuckled and shook his head. It's not this, it's him. The gangster pointed his finger at Chu Chen. When he said this, the man widened his eyes in disbelief. He looked Chu Chen up and down, then looked at the baby-faced man next to him. I don't know who the black boss is pointing at, but neither of these two looks like someone who can be treated. The man's throat tightened, and he said slowly, Are you sure? These two people look very young, not like. The man stopped talking halfway through his words, but everyone present knew what he was going to say next. The black boss knew he would say that. He chuckled and came to Chu Chen. Don't worry, the person I'm looking for is definitely not wrong. As soon as he finished speaking, the person next to him sneered. Brother, where did you find this guy? What can this young man do? Do you really think this is a joke? The person who spoke was the man who was taking the master to view antiques. The man's eyes were full of provocation and he didn't take them seriously at all. Chu Chen pondered for a moment, recalling their conversation. The identities of this family were roughly figured out. The man standing next to the gangster was the old man's eldest son Li Yun, the man looking at antiques was the old man's second son Li Li, and the young man before should be Li Li's son. Chu Chen had seen their family affairs on TV before. They were not only big shots in the real estate industry, but also in the financial industry. The other party's industry not only involves the domestic market, but also extends to foreign countries. The owner of this house has repeatedly topped the rich list. He is involved in both legal and illegal activities, and has countless connections behind him. The relationship between Li Yun and Li Li doesn't seem to be very good. Li Yun always speaks in a sarcastic tone and belittles his brother in his words. As soon as these words were spoken, the gangster boss became unhappy. He turned around and looked at Li Li viciously. The fierce look in his eyes made him unable to help but take a step back. He shuddered all over and dared not speak any more. No matter what, let's go and take a look first. What the black boss said was no problem. Baby-faced man and Chu Chen followed the black boss, and the three of them went upstairs together. Looking at their departing backs, Li Li clenched his fists fiercely. Damn it, I want to see how capable a young man is. After saying that, Li Li also walked up with the old man. After walking around in circles, they arrived at a room at the end. Before they entered, they heard a cough coming from inside. The cough was so loud that it seemed as if it was going to cough the heart out of the chest. Chu Chen frowned. Just by listening to the cough, he knew that the matter was not simple. Chu Chen walked into the room slowly. There was an old man lying on the hospital bed. The coughing sound came from the old man's throat. The old man was skinny and every cough affected his body. His body was shaky and as thin as a piece of thin paper, and it seemed like it would break at any moment. The master behind him also saw this scene, with a flash of surprise in his eyes. You have become like this, haven't you called a doctor yet? We have consulted the doctor, but he couldn't figure out what was wrong. We have taken a lot of medicine during this period, but it didn't work. Li Yun let out a long sigh. If the old man wasn't cured, he might not be able to hold on for a few more days. Chu Chen was just about to step forward, but before he had taken a few steps, he was pulled back by someone. Chu Chen frowned. The person who pulled him was Li Li. The other person had a cold expression. After pulling Chu Chen away, he dragged the master over as if nothing had happened. Chu Chen chuckled and said nothing. He just looked at the legendary master silently, his eyes full of sarcasm. Just as the black boss was about to speak, Chu Chen gently shook his head. No need, since they want to do this kind of thing, let them treat it first. I also want to see how capable the legendary master is. This master looks like an immortal, but Chu Chen always feels that he doesn't have any real skills. The master came to the old man, looked left and right, put his hands on the old man's rough arms, and carefully felt his pulse. The other person's brows were furrowed, and his expression became more and more ugly as time went by. The people next to them were also terrified, but Chu Chen was the only one with a faint smile on his face and a determination in his eyes. After about 5 or 6 minutes, the master took his hand back, sighed, and said to the people next to him, the old man's health has been damaged, and he can only take Chinese medicine to nourish himself. But when this cough will be cured depends on him. I will prescribe a prescription for you. You must take it well. As he spoke, the master took out a piece of paper and a pen and quickly wrote something on it. It took him only 2 minutes to finish, and then he handed the paper to the man. When Li Li saw the paper, a hint of gratitude flashed in his eyes, but he was a little unhappy in his heart. He had spent a lot of money to invite the master back from abroad, but he only prescribed a few prescriptions. He didn't even have an injection. Does that mean the old man is really hopeless? So is there still hope for my father? Lily asked with anticipation. After hearing what the other party said, the master was silent for a moment, with a trace of grief in his eyes. I'm so sorry, my ability is limited, but from what I see, just like what the doctor said, the old man can only rely on precious medicine to keep alive. There is no other way. Chu Chen laughed loudly and clapped his hands at the same time. The others looked at Chu Chen in confusion, especially the master, who frowned with displeasure in his eyes. Chu Chen glanced at everyone present and fixed his gaze on the old man. Chu Chen sneered, "You are really amazing. You made a person who was saved by instinct look like this. If the old man was still conscious, he would jump up and beat you." The others' throats choked, and the master became even more angry and stepped forward to ask, "Are you doubting my medical skills? You could say that.